kind of little, skinny, very nerdy guy.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let's slide this in. Then when James comes in, he can just slide
I'll sit
in.
right here so that way.
Okay. And we got headphones and microphones and all the stuff. Anyways, little skinny. Better announce it because we're. All right, everyone. Welcome to the show. Tonight we have Chele and James. James isn't here yet, so we've got Chele and Jared, and I may be playing with sound as we go along because, Ford Mics is brand new in here. But go ahead and pull the microphone up to you. Say hi.
How's it going, everyone?
And now you want to come up about a fist distance away.
Okay.
Tonight we're going to be talking about Blexit. These two, James is the president, and you're the communication with members.
Yeah, so I am
Commissar.
the director of member relations. So basically just recruiting and then just keeping everyone within the group informed about what's going on.
Okay, now I have to warn you. Dave isn't here tonight.
Okay.
Greg is a Democrat.
Okay.
So
that's fun.
I
like talking. I like seeing different sides, that different views and opinions that people have.
Honestly, I think Greg was a Democrat. He doesn't know the Democrat Party left him.
He's a flaming liberal.
Yeah, and I am an anarchist.
Yeah, there's a lot of people because I watch all different viewpoints on YouTube. I don't know if you ever heard of the Amazing Lucas. And so he was a really strong conservative a couple of years ago, and people were like, oh, you're a raging Democrat now, you're a liberal, and yada yada yada. But I just like to see different viewpoints that people have because just standing in an echo chamber all day long doesn't really do anything.
Oh, yeah. It's a fact. That's why Greg is here to stink the place up. Yeah.
Your damn headphones again.
I know, every time. There you go. You got it. Yeah. All right. But anyways, no, we love Greg. And Greg has made us some corn mash, or what is it? Whiskey mash.
Whiskey mash. And
it's delightful. And I should have got him bigger glasses.
Nice.
But I can finish out with some homemade beer. Anyway, so we were just telling some stories when we started up, and we'll probably finish those stories up after.
Yeah, I just started doing this whole Facebook thing and the Blexit movement, so a lot of people don't really know who I am yet. So
I saw you on there interviewing James.
Mm-hmm.
And we've chatted with James a few times. We even had John on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been inundated with a lot of questions about John. What's he got going on here?
Right. I'm surprised he's not in prison yet. Or is he in prison? I haven't really.
He is not right now, unless they're giving prisoners full access to Facebook.
Yeah.
And he's been on Facebook kind of radicalizing lately, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He's been going off the deep end. And it is what it is. Can't help that.
Is he here in Utah or?
As far as I know, he's still here in Utah.
Wow. Okay.
And I have my own personal thoughts on that whole situation, but we can talk about that later because I would rather not, put my ideas out in the wide open right off the bat. But anyways, so James is missing out on you introducing everyone to Blexit.
Yeah, so there's actually about 5 of us that are within the executive group. And so we started probably about 2 months ago, and we just launched within the last month. So Blexit just had a rally in Alabama, and basically it's a nonprofit organization, and basically what they're doing is it's the Black exit from the Democratic Party, right? And so it's basically just giving people within the Black community just a different stance, a different viewpoint of politics, and just allowing them to see, what else is out there instead of just voting Democrat regardless. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the Democratic Party, I feel like they cater to the minorities of America. and it's always like the same talking points, free stuff and whatnot. And I don't know if they just don't trust Republicans. Like I listened to Amazing Lucas, and he's like, well, the reason why, Black Americans don't want to vote for Republicans is because they view Republicans as racist. And so I never really started getting into politics until probably about, when Trump ran his first term, and I didn't vote for him his first term. I didn't really like the way that he spoke. I didn't really like I didn't really feel that he was speaking for people like me. And so I didn't vote for him for the second election, but for the first election, but I paid attention to what he was saying, and over his 4 years and the different amount of changes and how he was inclusive to everybody, especially towards his second term that he was running for. And I just felt more so that he was for everybody, his second term. And, he brought in a lot of people. And I was just like, yeah, this is the guy that we need for our country right now, for, economically, and just everything that he did to, in my opinion, to put America back on top. So.
Yeah, he did do some historic things for the
Right.
Black community.
Right, exactly.
He opened up some economic zones
Mhm.
in inner cities. He
The HBCUs.
yeah, and he gave lots of money to the historically
Mhm.
Black colleges and
Right.
universities. He gave, gosh, it's like 17 million above
Right,
what was already given.
right.
So he did do a lot, but the Democrat Party has owned the Republicans in rhetoric. And I can tell you the history of how Blacks were Republican
Mm-hmm.
until the 30s when the farm bills, FDR opened the farm bills up to Blacks.
Okay.
And that peeled off about 50% of them right off the get. The older Blacks didn't trust it because a Democrat did it.
Mm-hmm.
And Democrats historically were pretty rough on the Blacks. But then after time, those older ones either died off or got, saw the products of a farm bill being offered to them as well,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not saying the farm bill being offered to them was bad at all.
Right.
I think it was a positive thing. I think the farm bill alone was a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, FDR, I know he's a hero, hate me later.
I'm not really sure what all the farm bill entailed. Can you fill me in on that?
It was farm subsidies for farmers.
Okay.
And traditionally it was kind of an old boys club.
Okay.
It wasn't offered to everyone
Mhm.
at all, especially not, Black Americans at the
Mhm.
time. And he opened it up and offered it to everyone and wrote them in.
So is that what Biden did recently when he gave like so much money with his stimuluses to Black farmers?
Okay. Yes, kind of yes and no. He shut out other people but Blacks.
Okay.
What FDR did was open it up to everyone universally.
Okay.
So he included them. He offered them a seat at the table,
Okay.
which that part was good. The farm bill itself was bad, which we're going to feel that over the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
It's already hitting, and we can chat about that a little later.
Okay.
Looking into it, there's a lot of our food is going to become a more precious commodity over the next few years.
Okay.
Where COVID hit us hard, and then some of the stuff that the different corporations that manage our food, they're pulling some stuff. And
Right. Didn't Bill Gates just isn't he like one of the largest?
he is the
landowners?
largest landowner.
Yeah.
But you've got Cargill, Tyson,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's JBS.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your three. They control 80% of the food market. And they did some things in beef recently. I've been studying up on it, so I'm not ready to talk about it yet. And so that's coming out. But anyways, but that's when they first started moving to the Democrats. And then FDR did his was a Great Society movement in 65, and that brought the rest of them, and that's what brought welfare in on a wholesale. Now, my argument is I think that did more damage to the Black family, to underprivileged families.
I agree 100%. Welfare is probably the worst thing that could ever happen to the Black community.
It put them on the dole, and it made it so that it locked them in place. So
Mhm.
it locked them in as voters, but they had no upward mobility.
Right.
Once you get on that, it pays just enough to where an entry-level job can't compete,
Mm-hmm.
so that they have to make that Faustian choice. Do I stay on this and live better, or do I get this entry level job that will knock me down and live worse, and I still have to go work at an entry level job?
Exactly.
So I think we need to, if we're going to have a welfare system, we need to look at how we're going to do that to manage people seeking upward mobility at the same time.
Right. Yeah. And I think it should only be a temporary thing. I don't know how well the government would be able to monitor that. But, I mean, there are some instances where, yeah, people do need help. They need assistance from the government, but I think it should only be for a certain period of time. And then, they should be, what's the word I'm looking for? They should be,
self-sufficient.
yeah, well, no, they should be urged to, get
Right.
back into
Sure.
working again.
That's the way it is. That's how Clinton changed. They're only allowed 36 months of it.
Yeah.
A child is allowed assistance till 18.
Mhm.
A parent is only allowed it for 36
Clinton
months.
actually did some impressive things with it. That got knocked down
I mean-
shortly after Clinton left.
But no, a parent, individual is only allowed 36 months. A child is allowed, of course, till they're 18.
Except with the housing,
Well, except housing,
with, things like that. But
it is, I mean, that's why a lot of the kids go to grandparents, because grandparents can get it for, I mean,
Right.
there's ways around the system, but I mean, 36 months and then you're supposed to be on your feet.
Mhm.
on your feet for a month, and then they
Well, you can't
get
go
right.
No,
No, they do. And
No,
I'll
then they give it to the grandparents. 'Cause
remember
they're only
that.
allowed
You remember
36
that
months.
big kid you met in here,
Yeah.
raised on it. So
Well, the kid.
but raised on it because, and that's probably because she used the child to get to it. But either way, I think it's a system of perverse incentives. And if we're going to have it, I'd rather it be ran through churches and community centers.
Mhm.
My personal opinion.
Yeah.
I'd rather a bishop or a priest or a father or a mom be the ones who administer it. That's what I'd rather see.
So God could be tied into it.
Or a city manager or whatever. But I think when it's ran on even a state government wide level, it's perverse incentives, because an imam or a priest or a city manager or a community leader can say, oh, I see I see you've got a job. Okay, here's what we're going to do.
Mhm.
We're going to make this so that now you've got your job, you're going to continue to get some welfare assistance to sweeten that pot for 6 months.
Mhm.
And in that 6 months, I want to see you not call in sick to work, maintain that job, show performance incentives, and then we'll look at this again.
Right.
We can work a system better, but when you just hand it to the government, I see the government as a colander you're trying to catch water in.
Mhm.
And I would agree. But if we would pay people decent wages, it would take them off assistance.
I feel like recently COVID has set us back so much as well too, with the whole unemployment thing.
Mhm.
And I've heard of people, they're like, why would I go back to work when I'm making more being on unemployment?
Mhm.
Well, and that's a fact. I mean, I was one of the first called back off furlough,
Mhm.
and it was like, please don't call me back.
Yeah.
You know what
I
mean?
didn't miss a day. My
Didn't-
job kept running right
Did
through
it?
it.
But
Yeah.
I heard the argument today that the call to raise minimum wage, the natural capitalism is naturally raising it. There might not be a need to
Have
make
you
a stand,
have
a
you ever
natural
looked
standard.
into why the minimum wage started in DC?
It probably had to do with the feds.
Started in 1967 by unions who wanted to keep free blacks out of the workforce.
Hmm.
That's its initial starting.
I would find that maybe some unions, because a lot of unions back in the 60s were.
Or
black
sorry,
supporters.
1867. I stand corrected.
Okay.
I said 19. It
Yeah.
started in
I was gonna say.
1867, and it started on a citywide local thing, and then it spread
Yeah, well,
through the major cities in the South Baltimore. All right, James is here.
you want to get them?
But anyways,
Don't let him do anything. My choice.
yeah, he's talking to you. I'm gonna have him stripping by the end of the night.
So they implemented minimum wage to keep blacks out of the free blacks out of the workforce.
Unions wanted to have a minimum wage,
Mhm.
and because there was an underlying prejudice,
Mhm.
the blacks would come in and undercut the white workers by 3%,
Yeah.
20%, whatever. James, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
How's it going? But anyway, so they initiated that in DC
Mhm.
because they'd say, you can only pay this much.
Yeah.
Go ahead and close that door now. And that way people wouldn't hire freshly freed blacks.
We got you a
Interesting.
whiskey
Because
next
in
if you want.
Baltimore, yeah. In Baltimore, in DC, all those states that, I'm going to say something awful, impolitically correct. All those states that were allowed to maintain slavery all through the Civil War, all those blacks just got freed, and they were flooding the market, and they were competent workers, but there were still prejudices there,
Right.
and they charged less. So they initiated that. But anyways, I'm not for or against the minimum wage. I think I'm against government issuing monopolies to businesses, and that's what's killing us. When they shut down for COVID, they allowed, Amazon to keep running. They allowed Walmart to keep running, but mom and pop, kind of got all these strict measures laid down on them. That's why there's only Tyson, Cargill, and JBS. That's because of regulation forcing a monopoly. That came from a book called The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. He wrote that book as a socialist rant against the industrial, meat packing industry. Well, the meatpacking industry said, oh, yeah, people are pissed. Let's use this. Let's make it so we no longer pay for our regulators. So the regulators are paid for by the people, by the state, and no one else can meet the regulatory cost to start up a meatpacking plant. Just a simple fact. You can argue it. Come on.
No.
Anyways, but so I keep getting off on. We want to talk about Blexit. We want to talk about what you guys got going on, your movement. I do have to finish off talking about your brother because I've been slammed with questions, but I want to leave that for the end.
Okay. Well,
Bring that mic right up close to you.
all right. Well, my name is James Sullivan, and this is Shell Black.
Yeah, everyone knows James. Everyone just met Shell.
They're gonna know Shell. They're gonna know her. So we had the opportunity, I guess, like last summer, where we saw we saw 13% of our population, actually less than 13% of the Black population, burn down cities, assault and kill people because a drug addict died on national television. So we saw that all last summer, and what the problem was is that there was no actual alternative to Black Lives Matter. So what we saw in Utah is we had the lockdown, and a lot of people kind of asked, and they're like, what happened? Like, how do we get Black Lives Matter in Utah? How do we get so radicalized when this didn't happen during Ferguson? And Candace Owens actually made a really good point about how Black Lives Matter got into Republican cities and radical ideology and stuff. It was lockdowns. We were locked down. We were scared. The government uses fear to control, their population. And when you're fearing for your life, you're going to give up your basic human rights, the right to gather, the right to protest. There was arrests in the beginning for people going on and protesting for the Patriot movement, like people getting arrested for that. So we were stuck in our homes, and literally Black children in Utah, white people in Utah, they're placed in front of the screen, and they were being told basically after George Floyd died on Fox 5, CNN, MSNBC, that a lot of the problems the Black community has is because of white guilt, like white people. So they developed white guilt, and then you saw the radicalization and the term, white ally or stuff like that come into Utah. And then when the Salt Lake City riot happened, we had thousands of people in the street. That was a direct result from the indoctrination from the media with the lockdown. So fast forward to now, Candace Owens has realized, and I'm not speaking on behalf of her, I'm just seeing what I've seen. She's realized that there needs to be an alternative, not only in democratic cities, but in every state across America for Black Americans. One of the big differences of Black Lives Matter and Blexit is that they call Black people the Black community. We call our community the Black American community, because we believe that, yes, you should have pride in your ethnicity, just like you should have pride in being a white man. Everybody should have pride in where they've come from, but we also want to raise up that Black pride and also raise up their American pride as well. So what Blexit does is we champion entrepreneurship, small business, we advocate for school choice. We have schools in Virginia right now that have classes of more than 30 kids in them.
What's that one guy down in Georgia that isn't it? There's a young black guy in Georgia that started GoFundMe and started his own school. Caught hell for it on CNN.
Really?
But he started his own school. He said our schools are failing,
Right.
and the kid's like 20.
Oh wow.
He's still wiping mom off of him, and he's bold and moving out. I'll look him up. I'll find the kid that started. But yeah, he caught.
Yeah, I'll do research on that too. But we're really looking for to have like more school choice for kids. Utah is a great place. We have people like Kim Coleman, if you know who she is. She ran for the U.S. Congress against Burgess Owens like this past cycle. Yeah, she's amazing. She's developed charter schools. She's putting them all across the state. She works in this nonprofit where literally you can pay. You can fund these schools and scholarship programs instead of like paying your state taxes. So like she's doing amazing things. That's what Blexit kind of wants to do is we want to advocate for free choice. We also want to advocate for to end the vicious cycle of our not only Black Americans, but all Americans that are incarcerated for nonviolent crimes. We want to break that cycle because we have a lot. For instance, we have 450 patriots sitting in jail right now. I'm going to use this example as a political example, but we have 450 people, 220 of which have never had priors, have never gone to jail, have never had anything on their record. They're honor students. They're in college. They're business owners. They're sitting in prison right now, and they're literally they're having to adapt to their reality and to their situation. So they're becoming hardened. They're thinking in different ways. Their mentality is going different. When they come back out, they're going to have the mindset of a hardened criminal.
It's scary. The scary thing is I remember the late 80s and the 90s, what the right wing terrorists did. And when Joe Biden comes out and says they're our biggest danger, he's going to make them. And when they are our biggest danger. Right. Because, Oklahoma City, you had all down there in the Bible Belt. They don't tell you about it, but from Elohim City, those guys were going out and committing bank robberies and killing sheriffs and highway patrolmen. Lots of them. Mm-hmm. I was just a little kid, but they were doing it all the time. And this was under Bush. It was a little under Clinton, but mostly under Bush 1. And so I don't want to see the right wing radicalized. They were white supremacists. I don't want to see that enter our nation again.
So are you referencing white supremacists back then? Or are you referencing white supremacists
This
now?
is back then. I don't want to see them come back.
Right.
That's why I think we've got to have a level playing field for every person.
It's, in my opinion, it's
Come
hard.
right
and
on up to it.
It's hard. And I really sympathize for white straight males in America because every single day the media is telling you that, you guys are the biggest threat to democracy in America. Me? Yeah,
I actually am, but
right,
actually shaking right now
because I think
right.
I think democracy is a horrible idea. Always has been. It fails everywhere it's tried. But that's like up in Minneapolis, when the fire station was set on fire by a white 23-year-old college law student, female. She'd been.
I don't know why they did that.
You turn in you want to be careful what you open up on the phone. We're live, folks. Anyways, so she had been picked up for assault during a protest the day before and released, picked up 2 days before and released, and all for legitimate crimes. Well, they're not, the prosecutors in these Democrat areas are not charging.
Oh, here we go.
No, this is a fact. It's just a fact. They're not charging these people when they commit a crime. They're just cutting them loose. Well,
so I actually have a number of like the amount of people that are actually charged during the Black Lives Matter riots.
2,000.
No, that are currently sitting in prison.
Well, yeah, there's been 2,000 were arrested. 90% of those were released, but not even charged.
Well, that girl,
basically, they're being picked up and just moved.
That
over.
girl that was released for assault ended up starting the fire station on fire.
Really?
And she was released again. The up in Chaz, 2 teenage boys were murdered. Has anyone looked into that?
No.
Probably
15 and 17 murdered.
The guy that killed Jordan Trammell, Trammell, he was released.
Yeah, he was released.
Okay.
He was put on bail. if,
picked us
if, that,
wrong.
if that was a Trump supporter
So-
killing a Black Lives Matter person, they would be sitting in prison
Keep you crucified.
all the way through, crucified.
Yeah,
But Jordan Trammel's killer's out there
I think
on
we-
bail and house arrest, sitting comfortably while somebody died because they were expressing their political beliefs.
And Trump,
So
Trump
I mean,
was-
let's go back to the Portland. Now we get into this patriot thing, and when who's in prison, who's not. Let's go back to what a patriot is. What is a patriot to you? In your
someone who
eyes?
overthrows a government. It's,
No,
it's
no,
defined.
no. Well,
A patriot is somebody that advocates for their country.
okay. So if people are protesting in Portland or in Minnesota because they saw an injustice, are they patriots?
Describe injustice.
Well, that in their mind, see, your version of injustice might be different than mine.
Okay.
Okay. I see George Floyd.
What if in that protest they're assaulting
Well, there-
random
there-
You
people?
can you
There's
can,
a
you
lot
can
of ways.
protest. You can protest.
Okay.
It just depends on how
I
you
think if you're-
protest.
okay,
I think if you're assaulting random people,
Or-
innocent people, you've left the
or
protest there.
attacking a Capitol, I would say that's kind of a
Okay.
criminal. or
Actually, I'm more for
insurrection.
attacking a capital than I am any small business.
I have
Any
so much
small
background
business.
on what happened at the Capitol. So, but describe injustice with the leftist standpoint of what injustice is.
Injustice.
Yeah, injustice. From the
Injustice
leftist standpoint,
is-
yeah.
What you describe a drug addict, I describe as an American. He might have been a drug addict. He might have had a criminal background, but he was an American due rights.
So
Would you
I
give
don't
me
know, when did he describe a drug addict?
Well, he talked about the Minnesota, and he was referencing George Floyd, and he was referencing a riot when he got there.
yeah.
So I'm assuming that was George Floyd, who you described as a drug addict.
So,
What
so my thing, my version of injustice for the Black communities is that there's an injustice that after we were freed back in with the civil rights era, there is something that was put immediately after called the Great Society Act. You know what that is, right?
Mhm.
And that
We
put-
talked about
that
it just
basically,
then.
yeah, that basically
Johnson.
enslaved us again. That was leftist. So like we were enslaved again, and then so now there's little incentives for not having the father in the home. So we're having and because of that, our kids, our male kids, our boys are looking up to gang members as their father figures in their societies, and they're going out and they're trying to support themselves and sometimes their families, selling drugs, and they get into the vicious cycle of the prison system. I find injustice with people with Shaniqua Bryant that was recently shot in the face at a McDonald's parking lot. This happens all the time. So this you'll be like last summer. I'm talking about this past week. She was shot in the face. That's an injustice. Their justice system does nothing. They don't catch the people because the gangs literally work within the communities. The communities do not report them. There's nothing being done. That's an injustice, as nobody's marching for it. My problem is that George Floyd was an American. That's like an indisputable fact. He was, but the way that Black Lives Matter uplifts him, we have a mural sitting down in Salt Lake City, and they uplift him as some type of hero, somebody that died. We have statues of people that freed slaves being torn down across the country, and we have statues of George Floyd being erected. There's a 9-foot statue in Minneapolis of George Floyd. This is a man who pointed a gun at a pregnant woman's stomach, assaulted her, robbed her of the few things that she had in her home, and left. And we're going around and we're screaming his name.
But isn't he more of a point of accumulation of people, of why that statue is there?
There's 25
there's-
unarmed black men that were shot by cops in the year of 2020.
Okay. And,
Okay.
and George Floyd being being taped and seeing what he went through. I mean, that is why he became a symbol. Okay. And even though he did what you said he did and what he did, he should not have been knelt on by a police officer.
I think we
and
all
choked
agree
to
with
death.
That happens to white people too.
I think-
white people
I-
that
I-
are
I don't-
fixated
I
on
think
themselves
we all
as well.
agree with that.
Okay.
It
So,
doesn't
I think
matter
we-
if he would have been white, Mexican, black.
I
like-
think our question is
so I mean,
should all those privately owned businesses across the United States have been destroyed?
Well,
Black-owned businesses.
Black-owned business, white-owned, old people-owned businesses.
I think we
Should
agree
the
they
violence
know.
have been brought down on the general populace to answer that question? That is what I say.
Well,
And I say, here's the issue. The Black community has been disparaging of leaders for far too long.
And that's what Blexit is trying to fix.
And that's what I want to see. And that's what I want to see you guys on there. I don't want to see, what's it, Jackson or any of those other Yahoos, Sharpton. I don't want to see him anymore. Is it Jackson?
They come out every 4 years.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Christmas.
They do. And they come out, they're grifters. They come out, put pressure on large businesses, get a whole bunch of money from them to come in and say, whatever spiel they've got, and then they leave and live high on the hog. I want to see some people come out and say, we want to run for this. I want to see local leaders come out and say, I want to pinpoint a small area and work on that for now.
Yeah.
I want to build from there. I want to make sure that my schools, first of all, we're never going to fix our schools as long as they're under government control, but I want to see our schools succeed. I want to see young men and young women come out of our schools, not just with a piece of paper, but ready to take on higher education,
Right.
ready to take on a career in the military, ready to take on, a long-term career. I want to see that.
Right.
And that's not just Black, that's across the country, but it's disparaging in the inner city communities, which affect more than just Blacks. It affects immigrants of all stripes. It affects white people. And that's why we need leaders who are going to come out with intestinal fortitude, ready to take this on. And I don't care if you guys start your own damn party, I'll support it.
Yeah, and that's another thing that Blexit advocates for as well is teaching these inner city school children, the past of, the greatness that, the Black community has done over the last century, over the last so many years. There's so many great things that great Black Americans have done. And, with them pushing this CRT mess, I think that is doing nothing but setting us back for one, but it's devastating. Like you're shaming these white kids, and then you're also, in a sense, telling these Black children like, oh, this is as far as you're going to be able to succeed in life, and these are going to be your limitations.
Yeah, these guys have the power to hold you back.
Down. Yeah, exactly.
They have the power to hold you. And one of my personal heroes in life. This is one of my personal heroes of all time is Harriet Tubman. Mm-hmm. She carried a firearm illegally. She carried 4 or 5.
Yeah.
She, this may not sound palatable to most, but if she aided a slave in escaping and they wanted to go back, she killed them. Mm-hmm. Because they would rat on the others. They had the chance. She killed any patrol that came around her. She just opened fire.
Right.
She run and gun. She was badass.
She did what she had to do.
I love Harriet Tubman. Yeah. I mean, she when you really read into her, it wasn't this flowery lady, little old grandma. Mm-hmm. No, she was a fighter.
Right.
She was hard.
Yeah. And the movie Harriet, we just watched that not too long ago, and I thought it was great because a lot of these slave movies that you see nowadays, it focuses more so on, the beatings and this and that. Like we get that was a part of history, but let's focus also on the greatness that came of this as well. You know what I mean? And Harriet, I really feel like they did a great justice, for that movie by doing
I haven't seen it. Was it good?
Yeah, it was great.
Good. I haven't watched the movie really in 2 years.
So we just talked about a good movie. Have you seen the trailer for Karen?
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Yeah.
Where it literally says off with like a Black family just moved into my house, and it's just like every stereotype of like white Karens is in that movie.
Well, and I'm sure that honestly happens. I'm sure it does.
It does.
But
HOAs.
HOAs. She would probably react the same if the Beverly Hillbillies just shot oil out of the earth.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. Is old money, new money, whatever. That movie just looks bad, but that's just.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna go in and laugh. Like,
yeah.
Now, they're meaning that to be like a scary movie, but I'm just gonna go in there and troll it the entire time.
I wish the Wayans brothers would have made it. It would have been outstanding. But anyways, now I know you're knee deep in the historical of like Black Wall Street in Tulsa, mm-hmm. and you're knee deep in the Harlem Renaissance, and those are what we need expressed. That's what, honestly, why aren't those taught in school? They're going to teach CRT, but they're going to say, hey, look, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in what was it, 1814 through 1823, mm-hmm. they started this Black Wall Street. They separated and started handing out loans and building traditional wealth.
It was one of the most prosperous cities in America.
By themselves, they did it. And then they found there's a couple things that hit. One, they were getting wealthy, but that wasn't too bad. But they found oil close by it or something. They found some resource close by it, so they actually bombed it,
firebombed it.
Yeah. And so that's the history that needs to be taught, and that I don't think was done on a race issue.
I can tell you why. The only way that the government or the left can actually maintain the Black vote is if they keep them ignorant.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that.
I would argue that might be
No, just
No, I'm not even. I'm not going to say that the Republicans haven't been complacent in that. But like the problem with the Republican Party, and this is something that I've said a lot, is that they've been complacent. Candace Owens will say it. They've been complacent. They sat on their hands. You're like, where did our school system go? Where did this go? Because they let the Democrats take over the school system, and it's become literally a one party. Like we have one party school boards in the state of Utah.
We have one party education.
Yeah,
in
across America,
in the nation.
but now we have it in Utah, and it wasn't like
Mhm.
that before. Governor Cox is trying to get a governor-appointed school board passed, and like people are waking up now to it. But like, where were we in the past decade? You know, when this everything was leading up to it. Why did people not see that every year just got progressively worse and worse and worse? And I'm not saying that because you're not right thinking or not conservative that you're horrible. I have a lot of liberal friends. I have Black Lives Matter friends that I've talked with, I've been on podcasts with, and we vibe, you know, but we disagree in a vibing way, you know. So, but you know, like I don't believe that this nation should be a one party nation or a one belief nation, conservative or liberal. I believe that we need to go back to the balance that we used to have, and it seems like checks and balances on every plane, it's almost non-existent.
Well, I'll tell you why Republicans are losing. And it's the same reason the Democrats lost from 1861 through 1910. And that's progressive versus conservative. And progressive has a vision. And conservative wants to keep it the same. So the progressives go out and they get amped up and they fight for something. And then the conservatives see it after it's on the field. And then they go, wait, slow down. This is too far. And that's the reason. The Republican was the progressive party. Mm-hmm. And that's why they stormed it. And they owned the White House, the Senate, the Congress from 1865 until about 1910. Then they won it back. And then it's been kind of an even fight since about probably 28.
Well, this whole system is made to compromise. And I think we could see that. You're right. You have your vision. I have my vision. The whole thing is to come together and compromise. The problem we got now is you got your side, you got my side. And we're not, if somebody crosses over and talks to my side, they're labeled as a traitor. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's the whole point is I don't want my side to rule the country, but I don't want your side. I'd like us to get together and compromise
like we were.
I mean,
it makes America great.
Yeah, exactly. We're made to swing right and left, and we always used to be able to come back in the middle.
I think the start of the destruction was a Republican. It was Newt Gingrich when he was in the Senate.
And I go back a little bit further. Rush Limbaugh. It has come down to media.
I'm talking about Newt Gingrich made it so that the freshman senators and congressmen couldn't talk to the other party. He signed that in, and the Democrats just followed suit.
See, well, and I agree. Everybody says vote for the person, but I'm under the mindset you vote Democrat. It's a Democrat policy. The person is not allowed an individual vote anymore.
So the part of the Democratic Party that Republicans hate, or conservatives hate, only represents is literally 2%. The radical ideology is 2% of the party. There's a bunch of moderate Democrats that worked with Trump, that liked Trump. There's people that would compromise with Trump that nobody hears about because the 2% are so freaking loud. All right, and then
the media
are too. So there are moderate Democrats out there that we had literally people thought that when there was a walking away from the Democratic Party that those people just switched Republican. No, they were walking away from the radical liberal ideas, and they were going and they were voting for Trump. They were still Democrat. A lot of those people didn't switch their parties. Right. They just voted for Trump because they're like, we don't want to be represented by the 2% anymore. So we had Tulsi, we had a bunch of different Democratic former senators that were going out and advocating for Trump because they were tired of the 2% representing them. And there's no leadership within the moderate Democrats to overcome that.
And that 2% is represented by the media. When Tulsi went and talked to Assad to try to feign off war. I mean, everyone here universally at this table, most of us here are veterans, can say we're tired of the war. She got hammered in the media.
She did.
She got hammered in the media and in the Democrat Party leadership. They called her a traitor.
And who came to her aid?
Trump
did.
Well, now this 2%.
Go ahead.
I really think the Republicans are the ones that put the 2% up there. I mean, if you didn't have the 2% up there, you wouldn't have a talking point.
So the Republicans actually are complacent.
Yeah,
Nobody
they're
came out. They were complacent.
I mean,
they're conservatives. Conservatives
So-
don't fight for anything.
So
we
except
were the
just-
silent majority for a reason.
I would agree. I would disagree. I mean, popular vote wise, Trump did lose the first election. So, I mean, the majority.
You
of
understand why
America-
we run under electoral college.
very
right?
well, very
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
But the majority of the country voted Hillary.
Okay, good.
I mean, that was even with Russia's help. But anyway,
Yeah,
okay.
that one died on the vine.
No, oh yeah,
Keep
real
going.
well, real well. Yeah,
It died on the vine.
Putin. Okay, okay.
It died on the vine. Let's look at who was more hawkish against Putin. Was it Trump or Biden?
Biden.
No, Biden.
Oh, don't he?
Biden gave him his
say
pipeline.
Anything.
Trump was the
Listen.
first president to arm the Ukraine.
Oh yeah, right.
He was. That's an
It's just
indisputable
a fact.
fact.
And he called Putin what? A great leader. What do you call Putin?
So Biden says the same thing.
He
It
did say
doesn't
the same
matter
thing.
if they
that
talk.
is BS.
It's what they do.
That's the reason. You know, the main reason I can never look at Trump is because of the Putin and him.
Man,
what he
he's going to
said
make me
about
pull up a website. But we're off.
what he said about vets.
We're
being
off
losers.
subject.
But anyway,
Wait,
Go back.
no, go back. Rewind.
Elaborate on
Oh,
that.
Elaborate on that.
with Kelly and asking him why he would let his son join the military, and believe me, being a Marine, the Belleau Woods, the cemetery there where the Marines are, and him calling them losers. That's and now I know
I
he
vaguely
didn't.
remember what was the quote because I vaguely
He
remember that.
didn't do that. That came out, and the guy who actually said he did that came out and said, "Yeah, I lied.
there was
He
four
didn't
of
do
them.
that."
There was four people that said he did it. But everybody says
got
he's
it.
something did it. He never did it.
So a lot of people have come out and said and have said a lot of things that Biden has done, like outside of his life, like with kids, with little kids. And there's been hundreds of people that have come out and said stuff about that. So because 100 people said that Biden likes kids, why doesn't the Democratic Party say, oh, let's cancel Biden?
Well, let's first. The source was Fox News, and him leaning over, consoling a woman or whatever, and they're saying that. I mean, everybody who met Joe Biden has said he's a decent person. He really cares. He's gone through a lot of trauma. I mean, and he cares.
Okay, but we have hundreds of people from the left and the right that have come out that personally know him, that have come out and said that he has slept with prostitutes. He regularly cheated on his wife. He got with Joe Biden as part of an affair with Jill. So this is a man that's far from perfect. He's literally gone up and he has called vets. What is it? Pony soldiers, like
Dog-faced pony soldiers.
lying dog-faced pony soldiers. He has told union
That
workers.
one was on video. That
Yeah.
one wasn't.
Yeah, that wasn't
a
it.
Let's pull
hearsay.
it up because you know what? That really is insulting for a guy whose son
Right.
Yeah.
who was a vet who has always honored vets.
Well,
To be
whoa,
fair,
whoa, whoa.
to be fair,
Okay.
I don't think Joe Biden knows what the hell he's saying half the time.
And
To
calling
be
Hunter
honest.
Biden a vet is kind of an extreme,
wasn't
No,
Hunter.
extreme
it's
thing.
his son who died from cancer, who was an Iraqi war vet. And,
Yeah,
and
his-
Okay.
Ron Starr
Let's
was-
just verify that we're not talking about Hunter.
Yeah,
He got
no.
kicked out because of
Oh,
cocaine.
I mean, and Trump's military career was really good. I mean,
Didn't have
it
one.
was. What was hang toll or something that prevented him from going?
He had a what was it,
Money. Let's just say he had money.
flat feet or something. Yeah.
A lot of people in that era actually they had reasons to dodge the draft. What Trump did for New York after that and following that war was
Not
pretty
pay his
spectacular.
taxes. Not pay his taxes.
He actually rose up low income apartments and living in communities
So
in
where's him not
impoverished
paying
areas?
his taxes?
Well, his CEO just got arrested.
His
and he's got-
CFO got
because
arrested.
Biden and Obama have a nasty habit of weaponizing
Even-
the IRS for political
Even
gain.
if not, his
Now, see,
CFO.
this is
hold
what-
on. His CFO got arrested for his CFO's actions.
and who signed the checks? I mean, this is coming down.
So if you employ somebody and that person opts to not pay their taxes, because the CFO
See?
has gotten arrested for the CFO not paying taxes.
This is where we draw a line in common sense. I mean, it is. This is why we cannot come together.
So you're talking about Trump's business and people that are within his business that he doesn't have
So-
control over. He literally has boards of people and people and
so if
directors that handle that stuff. He's not in charge of everybody that works for his business. He's not in charge of their ethics
So he
or
didn't know
morals.
anything. Like Stormy Daniels, he didn't know about that either, right? That was
Would
all
you
Trump.
Okay,
know-
all right. So for me, and I'm sorry, and I want to set the record straight on that because everybody's ragging this guy. All right, okay, and I'm sorry, but Trump fucked a porn star. Okay. I don't understand how that disqualifies him for being the leader of this country when when like people are going after him for that. But Bill Clinton sitting in office literally face fucked his assistant, and nobody is talking about that. Okay, nobody's talking
He
about.
got impeached over it. How can you say nobody's talking about it?
Nobody's
Oh, what? So
nobody's
Bill Clinton-
equating for
so
him
is
for
Trump
that.
right?
What?
Was Trump right? At least
Why
Bill-
does his sexual
Bill
history? Why does his sexual history
he
with a woman?
He paid the girl off with campaign money.
No, he asked for an NDA before he was even running for office. She signed an NDA and then she paid him for it. A lot of people do that. Joe Biden, I would imagine, has a lot of people, a lot of prostitutes that he's had sex with that have been paid off.
You're rambling. That's
I'm not
true.
rambling.
That's not true.
I'm not rambling.
See, this is where you lose.
We
credibility.
literally have leaked text messages of Hunter Biden texting his lawyer, basically trafficking women, saying that he doesn't want yellow women or Asians. Okay,
Hunter or Joe.
Hunter Biden, his son. If any of Trump's children did a fraction of what his son has done, all right, we have videos of Hunter literally having sex with prostitutes.
And where are they?
Okay, what?
Where are they?
I don't know if we can pull it up on the show. I'm pretty sure Facebook will take it down. But we can show you off screen. But we literally have videos, text messages of lewd things that Hunter's done. We have evidence of him being a crackhead, texting his father for money, all this different stuff. And then we're going after Trump because he legally had intercourse with a porn star, which is literally most young men's dreams. Okay, he's a savage, in my opinion. That's something he did in his personal life before he was even considering running for office. And people are coming after him because they're trying to find everything that he's done in his life. Because I'm not saying that Trump is a perfect person, but the thing that the media likes to do to almost every political candidate that they don't like or don't conform is they dig into their personal life. But Trump's sexual history, what he does in bed, and people that look into what he does in bed honestly creep me out.
And paid taxes.
We
He
could
did.
Okay, he
We
does
could
pay
look at-
taxes.
He does. Then why didn't he never release them? Because he never paid them.
We could look at Gary Hart as far as
We can
the
go,
media
we can
coming
go
after.
back 100
No,
years
no, I'm
and go
saying
after
the,
everybody's.
It's not a requirement of any sitting president to
I'm
release their
saying-
taxes. It was a tradition that he chose not to
But why
follow.
wouldn't he follow?
One of the many traditions he chose not to follow.
we don't know why. But
Well,
anyways, I don't want to
we
make
do
this
know.
because I think
No, it's okay.
No,
I hope everyone here knows I'm not a Trump fan. I am not.
and I'll go on record. I'm not either.
We
but
should have that debate.
But
This
I
will be
don't
great.
like Biden either. And yes, we should have you guys on, have you debate, and I'll wear a tux and I'm drinking martinis at night. I'm getting fucking.
All right, right.
But anyways,
I'll drink
I'm
till
not
you
a
look
Trump
good.
fan. I am. When I say I'm an anarchist, I know
No,
you
I
don't
know.
understand what that means, and you guys are probably glazing over. I think the government is the downfall of humanity. Period. End of discussion. The government does nothing good or successful. Never has, never will.
So
Success.
I agree with you on that. To an extent, I believe that as Republicans or as conservatives, we advocate for limited government.
They do.
We
They don't
want-
go far enough. You guys are too
Trump
far.
tried going far enough.
You guys are too far left for me. Trump is too far left for me.
Really?
Oh yeah, way too far left.
Trump went the distance to try to get rid of like red tape and stuff like that.
You know what Trump should have done is he should have opened up that Constitution and saw, oh, the CIA not in here, FBI not in here, ATF not in here,
But those are people that aren't elected by the people.
and they kind of seem to run the government. Shocker.
Exactly.
That's
so like,
why governments are evil.
Trump
You
was
can elect
also
a guy,
blocked at every turn, just like almost
And
every
he was.
sitting president
and,
is.
and he was, and I agree. I don't think we're going to get a good president, and we're not going to get salvation of this nation out of the government. December 21st, 1921, we were sold. We were sold. The Federal Reserve Act was signed midnight on Christmas Eve by everyone. We were sold. Woodrow Wilson sold us. A Democrat. What was the first movie ever played in the White House by a Democrat?
Oh, it was. I know which one you're talking
Birth
about.
of a
Right,
Nation.
Birth of a Nation. Yeah. And at the time,
We were,
see,
but we were
this is
sold.
this is where we disagree because I love this country. I
love
it.
this country
Yeah,
too. That's why I want the
but
government out.
If you love this country, you love this government. You have to support the government.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Okay.
Okay. Wait,
All
wait.
right.
Let me just finish on his point. Yes, in 19 they showed it. You know, that's what I keep thinking is.
But,
if I
no,
love
hey,
this
hold on.
country-
Let him talk. Let him talk.
My point is, I believe every generation we've gotten better. We have. And that's a role of a successful
Except for
government.
Let him talk.
monetary wise.
Well, how not
Interest
monetary
rate.
wise? I'm richer than my parents. My parents are richer than their parents. My kids at 20 own their own home.
I can
mean,
give you a really quick economics lesson if you like.
Well, I don't know if you want to call it lesson. You might say an opinion. 'Cause-
No, like an actual factual economics lesson.
We got some homemade.
James hasn't even taken time.
We got
What?
some homemade beer if you want.
Okay, thank you.
But, okay, let me go grab some. I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to make some more.
Well, I'm gonna grab some
You're
more.
leaving me sobering up here.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
Oh my
you're
gosh,
leaving
guys.
when you're on the stage. I should go.
no, this
Stumble
way
through making it.
He can give a lesson.
But
So-
you're gonna miss it.
Oh, believe me, I've heard it before.
All right.
This isn't a political statement. It's just a matter of economics and basic civics understanding. The U.S. dollar every single year has gone down in value. All right, that means that our cost of living goes up.
Better cheers to that one. And you better take a pull on that, James.
Our cost of living goes up. Our cost of food goes up. Our cost of life goes up every single year. There are people that are making $15 an hour that the Democrats are like screaming for on the streets. I would be hard pressed to make $15 an hour without a partner and afford everything in life and being able to live
Afford
comfortably.
anything. In life.
Yeah. So like people are like, we need $15 an hour minimum wage. Why? Because you'll line the pockets of like landlords and a real
Mhm.
estate like everything goes up when you raise that. So like the economy has just gone down. What Trump did during his presidency and what people don't really see is what he did.
Oh yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. He's bringing in the treats.
Beer, margarita, or
Are those cake pops?
yeah, these are bourbon pops. These are bourbon. Everything else is regular.
I'll do this one.
I want the bourbon because
Yeah.
That's really
I'm
cool.
leaving here shitty.
Yeah, I'll take this one.
You guys are insane.
Anyways,
So to
You are
say
correct on
that
that.
our country has gotten better every year when our homeless population rate goes up every year by more than 1%.
oh, you're gonna.
Is a
you're gonna
gross
leave them in here, huh?
optimistic.
You're not taking
statement.
those home after tonight,
No.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I gotta plug my wife though.
dude. Okay,
Okay.
easy, Tiger. Your wife is a beautiful lady.
I think to caveat on what you said, I think the middle class is definitely depleting for sure.
It's getting wallowed out. It's
Yeah.
getting pushed to the edges. And honestly, like, I don't know. I'm not a historian. I know I can pull a lot of dumb shit out of my ass once in a while, but you dig into it. Now, slavery has a negative effect on an economy because what it does is it wallows out that middle class. The ability for someone to start a business when there's an ultra rich who can just tell one of his slaves, one of his, his people that he owns, God forsake the word,
Mhm.
you're going to go do this. And that way it takes opportunity away from people down on the bottom.
Mhm.
That was hopefully doomed to end anyway. And most of the studies say that had the South actually seceded, it would have ended calamitously. The South would have crumbled, a lot like we're looking at right now. 33% of all the money ever printed in United States history was printed last year between the months of like May and October.
Yeah.
And it ends up at the end of the year, I think it was somewhere close to 39%, which is scary. I don't know if anyone's looked into inflation and the inflationary effects on an economy, but we're staring down the barrel of that.
Yeah.
I mean, right now I get for this little dog shit house.
Sure.
And Jared.
Yeah, I think. I
Oh,
think
you already sorted me out.
I think we already knew that was going to happen. The way
For
that they
this
were
little
printing off
dog shit
money.
house, there I get a letter every week, and because everything's for sale,
Mhm.
I call them up and see what they're willing to pay, and they're willing to pay 3 times what I paid for
Yep.
it 15 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever, however
Yeah.
long.
We moved further south, so we used to live in South Jordan. And when we bought the townhome, I think we paid about $300,000 to live there. And we wanted to stay in South Jordan. We wanted to get an actual house instead of living in a townhome. And the prices for just ramblers were like starting at $500,000 without any upgrades or anything like that. So we were like, we can't afford to live out here.
It's
for what
getting
we
crazy.
want.
We're staring down the barrel of an economic
Yeah.
collapse.
Yeah, we are.
And this is a worldwide economic collapse. It's going to affect everyone.
Right.
Unless you live where the government doesn't touch. But that's another thing.
Well, Texas is doing pretty good. Texas is doing pretty good.
Texas is going to collapse also.
Really?
Everywhere is going to collapse. There, we can't avoid it. We can't avoid hyperinflation. We can't avoid. I mean, Weimar Germany went through it where they would give their kids bricks of money because the money was cheaper than buying a wooden block. They were burning it in their stoves. You can go up and look up the video, the pictures. It's famous pictures. Sorry, I'm typing. I'm slow.
And now they're talking about giving us a fourth stimulus check.
Yeah, throw it
It's
out
like,
there.
yeah.
I mean,
Print out another 1.5.
so I just looked up
$1
Weimar Germany. Let's see if any of the right now it's going to show all the pretty stuff. But yeah, you can look up Zimbabwe. Just what, 15 years ago? Okay, that's one paycheck. You would get paid twice a day in Weimar Germany. You got paid at noon. Your wife would wait at the gate. And you'd hand her the check because that check was worth different by that night. That's hyperinflation. She's warming her house. The kids want to build something today.
That's insane.
That's hyperinflation. And that was so that they could pay off the debt from the Treaty of Versailles.
Right. That's right before World War II.
Yes. Well, that's why Hitler got power. Specifically why was because of the failure of Weimar Germany. Yeah, well, look up Weimar Germany inflation, click images. It's shocking stuff. But anyways, we're staring down the barrel of it. I don't know if there's a way we can bounce out and recover. You dig into the conspiracy stuff. This is a planned event. But I want to get back to the point. I do love that you guys are offering. I love it because hopefully once you pull them away from the Democrats, I can pull them away from the Republicans and bring them over to my side. I'll bring them at least libertarian. And then after that, I will show them Zion.
Yeah,
I'll show them the Holy Land.
That's another thing that, for my part, as far as what I want to make a change in. So I feel like with Black Lives Matter, I feel like they are one extremity, and I don't want to be another extremity with Blexit. And so I want to. I know a lot of people come off, to the not the Black community, but to BLM very harshly. They use very, aggressive words and whatnot. And I feel like we're not going to get a lot of people because they're just going to hear our words and they're going to be like, why would I want to join that movement? You know what I mean? So as far as me personally, because my job is going to be out in the community talking to people, I kind of want to, just soften the edges a little bit.
You're a good person for it. I mean, we chatted
Yeah.
before we went on.
Yeah.
You're very easy to talk to, and you've got a good charisma about you, affable.
Thank you.
James does as well.
Mhm.
James, I mean, unless you're Greg, but Greg does as well, unless you're James. But I think that's ideology, and also, I mean, it's the studies have been done. These studies are out there. I know, Greg, you don't want to hear this, but
I just want to see it.
the liberal class gets 90% of their news from and I don't like calling them liberal because liberal is what I am. Liberal is a movement that came out of the 1600s that focused on the individual.
Left leaning.
Well, no, liberal that was taken over in the 40s by Roosevelt. Liberal prior to that was a sour word to monarchs. Monarchs hated the word liberal because liberal was what them damn Republicans were.
Mhm.
You guys know what republicanism is and versus monarchism, all that stuff. Democracy is older. It's way old, but republicanism is a little bit younger and had a rebirth in the 1900s. They fought a whole war over it. It was a big deal, kind of, there's all that stuff. I mean, we showed pictures of the aftermath of it. But anyways, liberal came out of, John Locke and studying of Bastiat and things like that, of the study of the individual. Mm-hmm. The individual has supremacy over his own life, his own decisions. He doesn't have fealty or ownership to anyone. I'm not a fan of democracy. Democracy is god awful. Democracy is two dogs and a sheep deciding what's for dinner. And that's what it is. Always has been. The minute they can vote to take stuff away from you, they will, and it ruins you. But anyways, I am a pure anarchist. I believe we can set up communities. We can work together. We can do all the things. Roads still get built, whatever. This isn't a show for me to convince people to anarchy. I'm going to wait till you guys.
Oh my
are
gosh.
done.
I was ready to join.
No wonder you and John get along so well.
I feel like
John's a different kind of anarchy.
He's an uninformed individual.
So can I ask you guys, because before the show, I'd try to find Blexit.
Okay.
You know, I went to the Facebook page.
Mhm.
It's locked out. I can't see anything in there. I saw you were been banned for 7 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Well, who
and then
got banned?
I got banned for 7 days because George Floyd's brother said that all lives matter.
Yeah.
Not only black
Well, you
lives. He said,
reposted
quote,
that.
I reposted that. And
I
it went,
saw that because he did say that.
He
Yeah.
did say that. He said, not only black lives matter, all lives matter. And the left lost their collective minds.
Well, no, that's a consolatory. I
Man,
mean,
I
that's
threw
a
a-
statement.
No,
I threw a
that's
heart
that's
on
that's a statement from George Floyd's brother.
Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's. But anyway, trying to research, I went to the Blexit national page,
Mhm.
and I did not know that Blexit meant exit from the Democrat Party, because when I went to the national, it's in the minorities. It's not basically black related, only black. Am I right on that? Or
It's not only black, but most of our state leadership, like state directors and assistant state directors, are black.
you're talking national
Minorities.
or state?
So we have state, regional, or the
Are-
foundational.
you're
team.
relatively new here in the state. Then is that
We are new in the state.
okay?
There was something that was trying to be started, but the problem that Blexit had with Utah is there's not a lot. Well, first of all, there's not a lot of black people. Black people represent like 6% of the Utah population overall, and I'm not talking about the fresh off the boat Africans that are coming that aren't documented yet. So they had a problem finding not only a black person but a black conservative, because like a really good example is Lex Scott from Black Lives Matter. She's literally a black person that's leading a congregation of white people, telling them how to feel about black people. That's what it is. That's how hard it is to find a black conservative in Utah. So then I reached out to Brandon Tatum probably like 2 months ago. And you know who Brandon Tatum is? Officer Tatum.
I do.
You do. Okay. And I know she does.
It's got
Um,
good stuff.
Yeah. So I reached out to him. He's one of the co-founders of Blexit with Candace Owens. And I said, we need to have a chapter in Utah. And that's how it started. So then me being connected within the community, knowing everybody, there was a Patriot community that was started by a group of leaders and myself in Salt Lake Valley. I was able to source the people within a month. So I got Shell as my first one. And then I reached out to Dr. Gary Thompson, Jamie Wadman, John Harvey, and a couple of other amazing people. So everybody that's on the team are masters at their crafts. I literally don't have to teach them anything. I'm going to be learning from them as we go along.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. So like what we are is we're not like I make the distinction of saying we're not we're an alternative, not an opposition, because we're not going to be going out in the streets against Black Lives Matter in full kit with AR-15s. That's not going to happen. So what we
I
are,
carry a scar myself. So.
we don't do that. So what we are is like we encourage for the progression of Black Americans. The thing that separates us from like Black Lives Matter is that Black Lives Matter refers to the Black community as a Black community. We refer to the Black community as the Black American community. So we want to have, again, Black people from all ages being proud that they're Black and also being proud that they're American. And the way that you do that is you teach them about the history that's being removed from our schools. Right now they're teaching CRT. Nothing in CRT teaches about Tulsa. Nothing in CRT teaches about the actual innovations and amazing things the Black community brought to this country other than racism. It doesn't talk about how it literally influenced the creation of rock and roll with jazz. So like
Not just rock and roll, everything.
So like it doesn't talk about that. It doesn't talk about anything that we've done is great. So if I was a Black kid without any knowledge or a conservative father, looking at my people from the standpoint of the public education system, I would think that I was victimized. I would think that I'm oppressed because that's all they have been teaching for the past decade. All right. So what we want to do is we don't want to have we're not trying to convert every Black person towards, the Republican Party because we're a nonpartisan 501c3 group. So we have we're conservative.
So they are mine for the taking.
What?
I'm having voting Dave Smith this year.
I mean,
like it.
when it started out, when you said, taking blacks from the Democrat, I mean, that you kind of draw a line there saying, oh, is that your goal?
It's Black Lives exit. So it's more from like the radical ideology, because we have a couple of leaders in our leadership that aren't Republican. They're
Right.
independent. They're left leaning. They're right leaning. You know, we have a couple of that too. So we don't. If you come up to me and you're like, I want to be a member of Blexit, and you're like just a Democrat, as long as you're not advocating for violence or like the destruction of government property or anything like that, I'll be like, yeah, sure, be a member.
And
you know, we'll have some interesting conversations, but
and we offer a different viewpoint, because if you look at a lot of these kids, or young adults or adults within the inner cities, the only viewpoint that they have shoved down their face 24/7 is either CNN or their parents or Lex Scott, or these athletes or rappers that are telling them constantly like, hey, we're the oppressed people.
Dude,
we deserve
so there are a lot of rappers coming out lately, like
for
new-
Trump
new
and
rap.
Blexit, yeah.
Holy,
Well,
like they're popping up on my YouTube, and I toss them a follow. Look,
Like
I'm-
Topher. Do you know Topher or Bryson Gray?
I don't, but you're gonna send me stuff, including that Ogden lady's name. You promised twice now.
Sorry, I forgot.
We're gonna
I
have
forgot. I got
words
really busy.
We're gonna have words out on the street after this. Non-violent
So,
words.
so
Okay.
so we keep referencing the media and CNN. So where should they go for the media? I mean, it's
So
It's-
the
it's
entire mainstream
research.
media is absolute crap. I'm
Yeah.
not going to sit here and tell you to watch Fox 5, because I would be telling you to watch opinionated bullcrap. Like the only part about Fox 5, and I know that you don't like him, but the only part of Fox 5 that I kind of like is Tucker Carlson and Lori Ingram. That's literally it. But the mainstream media divides. Like, for instance, there's a documentary that's being made about my brother and I. They sent out 2 separate teams, and the entire premise of this documentary is to absolutely prove that the media can change anybody, can indoctrinate anybody. My brother was a conservative, okay, growing up. We were a conservative family. We were Republican. My dad taught us conservative principles, right? We were locked down. And during that lockdown, my brother was indoctrinated by the media to have guilt for himself and his community because he was black and successful. So he felt that he had to go, and he had to first quit his job, and then second, go and advocate for black people who he deemed were oppressed. So he wasn't even seeing them as his fellow Americans anymore. He took on a duty to himself that he was going to go and he was going to rise his people from oppression in a state where they have constitutional rights. So like, or in a country where they have constitutional rights. So like, that's what this documentary is going to expose. And the main reason why Black Lives Matter became so widespread this past season is because it's not because George Floyd was killed. It was because they had a captive audience and they were able to indoctrinate them. I'm not saying that cops should go out and kill black people. I'm just saying that cop shootings in the black community are the least of their problems.
Mm-hmm.
We have black babies that are being killed on genocidal rates. The black mothers in these inner city communities are not being. They have access to government funded birth control, right, in these inner cities, but they're literally being told that Planned Parenthood and abortion is a form of birth control, and that's a little bit more worrisome to me. I don't feel like I have a say over a woman's body, but when they're being literally fed this information that this is all they know, that's a problem to me. So like, we have had 25 unarmed black men and women killed in the US of A in 2020, 25, and in the media, CNN was saying 1,000, Black Lives Matter was saying 10,000, and all these white allies were in the streets saying that there's a genocide going on with blacks and cops, and I'm like, 25 people, majority of whom those shootings were justified. That's not genocide.
Right.
All right, out of those 25, only 6 ended in ethic committee reviews, which is when the cop goes in front of an ethics committee and they deem on whether or not it was justified. Only 6. All right, so we're gonna look at George Floyd dying. We're gonna put murals and put them on our shirts, but we're not gonna worry about Jordan Trammell or all the kids that are getting shot in their backyard in their driving seats when they're going to McDonald's for a Happy Meal boy toy and they're getting a bullet through their face. Okay,
Well,
that's a problem.
I agree.
And there's no advocacy for that.
But I watch CNN, believe it or not, and I don't remember the birth control, go down and get an abortion indoctrination.
That's not being taught by CNN.
Okay, and
So the mainstream media, they divide.
This mainstream media.
Our country has literally taken. We were on the brink of a race war, okay, because of the mainstream media. How do you think you got those ideas in your head that black people are oppressed and they're like we have literally had this narrative. Go ahead.
The media shapes countries.
Well, as
Well, yeah,
oppressed
it does.
people in the oppressor's house, what do you guys feel?
I feel pretty scared.
Come on,
actually.
I'm not.
Can't
Am I
stop
pretty
shaking.
Terrifying,
Dude, you ain't
right?
drinking your fucking
I
drink.
have to drive, dude.
All right, that gets handed over to me. You want a water?
Yeah, that would be great.
Can I have
Take a
a
water
too?
out of that fridge. Yeah, drink up 2 waters.
Um,
I'm
but
getting
but
drunk.
we literally have like this narrative that I actually kind of broke down over last summer of white privilege. And there's a bunch of
Thank you.
Republicans in our state. I believe like over 25% of the voter base supports Black Lives Matter. Why? Because it's an alternative. But there's something called white privilege. And so many people are like, well, I have white privilege, so I have to offer this opportunity to you.
Look
and
upon my
They're just like, look
privilege,
upon my
folks.
privilege. And it's just like, to me, that's like the only, I tried, when I
Dude.
first started, I tried doing research. I tried finding white privilege in history. And I really tried. And I tried doing cross comparisons. I wrote thesis statements. I had this whiteboard. You can ask my my amazing spouse.
You went
I
to
had
the
this
old
whiteboard.
corkboard
I
and
was
the red
literally
yarn.
trying to make connections with white privilege over this past summer coming out as a leader. And I'm like, the only phrase that I could find that correlated with white privilege is white power. And it's white people back in the Jim Crow days. They literally thought that they were superior to black
Morons.
people. And the only way that black people could rise is if they offered them those opportunities.
Yeah,
So, like,
morons.
They were morons. They're stupid. So then we come to now and people are like, we have white privilege. We're burdened with the sin of being white. And because of that, we have to help you rise. We'll be your white allies. That's essentially telling me that they believe that they have some type of power that
they
black
have
people
to
don't
raise
have
you.
because we have more melanin in our bodies. And that in order for us to rise, we need our white ally to rise. We're seeing the repeat of history, and people are like, how do we get to this point? Well, it's because they're tearing down statues, all right, of people of abolitionists. They're saying that the recent thing that they're saying is that the Constitution doesn't apply to black people.
Yeah.
Because it was written by racist old white men that owned slaves.
We need to fight to make it more applied. I want to boil the Constitution down. I mean,
It needs to be.
we
It
can
needs to
go
be preached.
for the 19th Amendment if we must. I know I'm speaking to people who don't know what it is, but anyways,
what it is.
and as the least privileged in this room, you're a woman
Right?
as well. A
Yeah.
woman, and are you a mother?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
Not
so
yet.
And she's a veteran,
One
so
day.
people don't care about her
Oh, yeah,
out of like
she's
2 days of the year.
yeah, she's
So.
a veteran.
I'm so sorry.
But
Right.
no, I want to see you guys. I don't care party. I don't give a shit because they're all dog shit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're all
Plus,
just trying
it's
to gain their
nonpartisan,
own
so.
strength.
Mhm.
I want to see leadership in the communities where you're going to go and where people have a place they can go and say, hey, look, I want to start a business. We talked to a Black Lives Matter lady from California on the show early on.
Mhm.
And she wanted to start a coffee shop that did what is it? Rap battles, rhyme battle. What do you call that?
That's the whitest thing I've ever heard. They're called rap battles. For the record,
It wasn't rap battles.
You
No,
said
it was
rhyme battles.
it was the jam
Of thee I declare.
jam poetry. Is it poetry slam?
Roses are red, violets are blue.
Yeah, like poetry slam, rap battles, lyric battles. Like it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Dude, I am so
I was just in Alabama where we had Topher up on stage at this Blexit rally, right? And all these white people were getting up, and I was wondering, like, for a split second, like, why are these people jamming? Topher's lit. And I'm like, wait, this is probably the first time they've been introduced to hip hop. And there's this woman behind me, and she's like, "Is this the hip of hop?" And I'm like, I turn around, I'm like, "What did you say?" Like, she's like, "The hip of hop."
Dude,
And I'm
that
like,
sounded like the lead off to like a Run DMC, the hip to the hop.
yeah.
But anyways, no,
It's okay.
I jammed out the hip top, you know, to the hip of the hop. Anyways, no, she wanted to open a coffee shop that had that. And I said, okay, you know, we were talking. I says, you're not a victim.
Mhm.
The world is yours.
Right.
What do you want? I said, build up a business plan. Go to a bank. Say, hey, I've got this business plan. I want to open this coffee shop. I want to sell coffee for this price because this price fits in the neighborhood. This is what I have. This is the overhead cost. Humana. And, you know, and if they tell you no, find out why, and then go back to that business plan and fix it in that business plan and get it to where you have it. Get it to where it's going to thrive in your community,
Mhm.
you know, and I hope she's done it. I've reached out to her a few times asking her how it's done. But when we talked back in, God dang, like January, you know, it's been a long radicalization since then. Sorry, I'm drunk. I'm gonna
Oh my gosh.
talk like dog shit tonight. Anyways, it's been a long one, so she hasn't responded. But I want to see that build up. I want to see a build up where you don't have to open your own bank. What if you guys just became that resource of knowledge?
Right.
You know, you have someone there who can walk them through business plans or build an outline, even if it's done at cost. Because I understand, you know, to hire someone to do that, and I don't care what color they are, but you have someone, they can come in and say, hey, look, I want to do this. And then people donate money to you, so you have this resource.
Right. And not only that, like I want to start at even a younger level, like the kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why
like
isn't-
high schools and whatnot?
Why isn't business plan writing taught in high school?
Right.
Or filing your taxes to the
or the stock
the-
market.
to the very needed government that I must love because I love this fucking piece of earth I sit on. There are a lot of places in this nation I have never been. A lot of places. I've been a few places, but there are a lot of ground I've never stepped foot on. Yet I have to love the government over that. Fuck
The government is the country.
No, it is not. The
Yes,
government is the
But what is-
parasite.
okay, tell me, what are we formed on? What's the Constitution form? What did it form a government or did it form
Overthrowing the government.
No.
That's what
I
a patriot
want to go back.
is.
I want to go back to his point on being indoctrinated during the lockdown, which is a.
Are
I mean,
these
I could see
paper
the
straws?
theory, huh? Yeah, we
I
don't
know,
want.
right?
We don't
That
want
sounds
to.
good.
Listen, that's my wife. Don't.
This is the
don't-
first time I've ever hit a paper straw.
They don't kill the whales. Okay, the plastic straws.
You're welcome, turtles.
Yeah. Oh, no. She's very on. Now you threw my thought. No, an indoctrination of the media. Okay. So is there somebody? Do they sit in this big black room, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and they say, "Hey, we're going to go after this theory.
Nope.
We're going to indoctrinate these."
You want me to tell you
people."
how it goes? CNN has lost 85% of its viewers since Trump was out.
All of them have. Fox has lost viewers. Everybody.
Fox is the only one that's retained some.
Wait, so-
CNN and MSNBC
This
are
is my
down
point. Is
85%.
Fox
Let me finish.
leads
I'm
it.
very interested. Go ahead.
Fox leads the. What is it? Fox mainstream because they lead ratings. How can you not be mainstream and lead the ratings?
I haven't watched Fox in a minute.
Well,
I haven't watched Fox in a minute either.
okay. Well, I'd be interested in what you are watching. 'cause,
I'm actually just watching like conservative leaning media right now.
you
And
know
a lot
where
of
I-
it, a lot of-
OAN?
no,
OAN?
no. A lot of what I'm
No.
doing right now, a lot of what Shell's going to be doing, and most of the team that we put together is what the Patriots did or what the conservative movement did last year in Utah. I don't know if you realize, but Utah, which is a little timid Mormon state where people went to go to the temple, became one of the most politically activated states in America. It was taking frontline news. My brother being
It's
most
crazy.
of them. I believe that people wasted brain cells reading his stuff, but I'm not going to talk about John right now. But we were creating history last summer. And when I saw how the media kind of brought that out of proportion, brought my narrative, my story, what happened, I'm like, that's not how it happened. And I remember the first media story that was done by KUTV. And I'm like, that is not even a fraction of reality. And how they twisted it to be that James Sullivan, like a confused black man, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I'm not confused about anything. I'm confused about why you said I'm confused. But other than that, I'm not. The media does distort, and it
so
does.
what did KUTV gain by twisting it? You know, that's what I'm saying is
They
because
gained twisting that I was confused because I had conservative values and I wasn't part of the Democratic plantation.
So
mostly
was that the reporter
Okay.
or was that the reporter's boss or is there somebody on top that says, hey,
it went
wanna-
through an editor. It
can't-
goes through everybody.
so
So
is
it
that what you
happens in
believe?
media all the time.
do you believe that there's somebody up there saying,
do you want
hey,
the history lesson, or
we
should
cannot
we just?
No, I just
boil
want to
it
know
down?
if we believe that they're saying we can't show a black guy being conservative. Do you really believe? So they say we got to twist this story until he doesn't look like he's conservative.
When's the last time that CNN covered Candace Owens other than when she dismantled Cardi B?
You know what? How
Answer
about
that question. When's
how-
the last time they brought on Senator Tim Scott when he came out with a police
Tim
reform?
Scott won't go on him.
What?
Tim Scott won't go on CNN.
No, they won't bring him on CNN.
No, they won't go on it.
No,
Hold on,
they
hold
won't
on.
bring him on CNN. And there's a reason why is because he has police reform that they don't like. He believes that we need to. This is something we talked about and I actually looked into. I'm like, it's exactly what Tim Scott said. He believes that we should actually create specialized divisions, like more specialized divisions within police forces. We shouldn't have a beat cop. going into a home to do urban clearing. We should have SWAT doing that. We should increase that division so we don't have Breonna Taylor happening again. You know, we should have
Yep.
we should have more specialized units of people going into different areas.
Right.
If we have somebody that like it obviously is showing like Pioneer Park, and we have somebody that's going around screaming that they're going to shoot up the area, but they're obviously high on meth, crack, cocaine, right? You don't want to send a beat cop in that doesn't have an aptitude for de-escalation.
You want to have a homeless division.
You want to have somebody that specializes, tests
See,
their aptitude to test this
we
for
agree.
de-escalation.
Police reformation.
Yeah. And
I know,
we
but
need
most
to-
liberals say that we don't need police. They're advocating for a federal version of police, which is essentially the
it's
Gestapo.
not.
They're asking for them now that the feds are going to pay for them. But anyways, should we go into it real quick? 1933, there was a place called the Frankfurt School. Well, anyways, there had been a communist versus fascist war in Germany at the time, and the fascists won.
In Spain.
No, I'm talking in Germany.
In Germany?
Yes, in Germany, and the fascists won. Adolf Hitler got in charge. So some guys at the Frankfurt School came to the United States. They call it. It has a name. It's called the Long March Through the Institutions. They named it. They went to Columbia, specifically where they went. They started branching out from there, and they made it their point. They call it the Long Marches because they're going to take a century to march their Marxist ideas through the institutions. That's where it comes from. That's why our colleges are essentially lost right now.
See, here we go. How are colleges lost? Well, I mean, it's because people are coming out with different
Anyways,
thought.
so the guys come out of college with these
Yeah.
ideas, and the race war is stoked by people who want to see Marxism arrive, and they use race as that anvil.
Mhm.
They're bringing Marxists in. That's why all of BLM is a Marxist institution. Everything they speak for is Marxist. You know, if any of them would have read a little bit of Bakunin, that would have been great because they'd have realized Marx is god awful.
See,
And it's
this is where I go is conservatives, you use the word patriots. Liberals, you use the word vet. I'm a retired vet. My son served. I have 100% kid disabled
straw
because
gave
of the
out.
military. My grandfather served. My dad served. You know, I think I'm a patriot. I'm a liberal.
Absolutely.
So I actually have a view about the Patriot community that most people don't have. I was assaulted by Proud Boys and a bunch of Patriots on December 12th in DC because they thought I was working with my brother because the majority of the Republican base were conspiracy theorists for QAnon. Okay, so like not George Floyd, holy crap. Alex Jones, I think I'm getting like a contact drunk from you guys, but Alex Jones went out and he said that my brother John and I were trained in Syria in psychological warfare by my father John because he found out that my dad
Alex Jones said that.
Yeah, Alex Jones said on InfoWars. I can pass you guys
Your
the
name
link.
was mentioned by Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers.
I'm not cheering to that.
I'm
So
getting that
so I
motherfucker.
saw that story and I laughed my ass off. I'm like, okay, like I wasn't trained in Syria. I've never been to anywhere in the Islamic State. And I sat there and I went to this event and people thought that I was a psychological operator. And that they're like, you only succeeded in Utah as a leader because you understood how to work propaganda. I'm like, no, it's because I had common sense and a brain and marketing knowledge. And I knew how to market something that people wanted to hear to a point that they would want to show up and support you at an event. So at that event, a Proud Boy rushed the stage. His name is Thad. You know Thad.
I've heard about this.
Yeah. He rushed the stage.
But of course,
this isn't the entire investigation. Like he's
hasn't he
involved
been-
with my brother. My brother paid him $10,000 to rush the stage and tell everybody there that I was working with him because he
Hasn't
knew
he-
that my
yeah.
entire base would run away from me.
And
'Cause
he's
they're-
also been working with the FBI. quite a
yes, and now he's like somewhere in Texas. I don't even know where he is.
bit.
But so Thad. So I got assaulted by the Proud Boys, assaulted by Patriots over there. So I'm not saying that every Patriot is 110% logical. When I say Patriot, I mean somebody who advocates one's country.
Okay.
Somebody who loves their country and they love the Constitution. They want to advocate for all Americans. My father served 21 years in the military for people to have views that the Constitution was written by racist old white men. He didn't care. He wanted to protect all Americans. So like that's what I advocate for as all Americans as a patriot. I'm not here to support one man, Donald J. Trump. I'm a patriot to support my country. And if I'm seeing that my country is becoming one party and that one party is going and telling my people, the people of my skin color, that they are less because of their melanin and they need white people to help them rise, I see that as a problem. Okay. When I see my people being used literally as a political weapon every 4 years, okay, to paint somebody as racist because they don't politically agree with them, I see that as a problem. I see that as a very fixable problem. I don't need every black person in Chicago to be a Democrat. I need every black person to understand their rights. I need every black person to understand that they are an American, that they are not less because they're black, that there is a black community, but it's in a black American community, just like there's a white community and just like there's a Polynesian community that are all American. I want black people to know that they don't have to reach out to the white community to fix their problems. The white community does not reach out to the black community to fix any of their problems whatsoever. So the black community needs to start raising up leaders in their states, and that's exactly what Blexit is for.
And I agree with you. But a black person can still vote Democrat and be right.
Yes.
Right. I mean, it's you got
according to their views.
Hold on,
They're justified to their views.
Nobody can vote Democrat and be right.
No. So they can be right and they can stay true to themselves and their political views. We need to have them to be like, for instance, the black community makes up 13% of this population, right? Less than 6% of that actually shows up to the polls. And in their cities, like in Chicago right now, only 2% of the black community in Chicago shows up to vote for the local elections. That means that white people are literally voting in white legislators and leaders in their country, in their counties, and their cities to represent the black community. That is a problem. So what Blexit does is we actually set up voter registration, voter knowledge. We go into these cities and we set up booths. We teach them who they're voting for. We don't say we don't go and campaign for one person, but we're like, here's information of everything so you can become known because it is not given to them. All right. What happens in Utah, what happens in Texas, everybody's all politically involved. That does not happen over in Chicago. That does not happen in New York. Okay. I've been to both places during the election cycle. It simply does not happen. So they can vote Democrat, but the thing is that am I voting for a Democrat that's going to advocate for my problems? Are they going to fix our infrastructure? Are they going to advocate for charter schools or school choice? Like, that's the problem. That's the things that they need to be advocating for. I don't believe that every Democrat is bad. I believe that there's Democrats right now that are advocating for school choice. They're creating charter schools all over California and very red cities. Okay, so they're working with conservatives, with Republicans. Okay, so like they can vote Democrat, but I want them to vote to fix their communities, to vote in that leader. Because when we vote in these mayors and these governors, we're voting in leaders, people that we are trusting to represent us, right? So they need to vote in those people that can represent them the best, and that's a Democrat, and that's a Democrat. If that's a Republican, that's a Republican. If they are independent or libertarian, then they're independent libertarian, and that's what Blexit believes, is that the black community needs to have more knowledge, and they need to be registered to vote so they can have a voice here in America.
I need to turn you guys on to Dave Smith then. Mises Caucus of the Libertarian Party. That's where it's at. It's going to shake up. Well, I don't know. I don't know why he's running. I wouldn't. We're on the downward slide. Damage is done.
They've always said that. They said that in the 60s. They said that in the 70s.
I know they did.
If we're not on a downward slide, there's no reason for us to be on the podcast.
That's a good point.
That's a
good point.
It's the 1984.
I should turn over to a How to Eat Cicada podcast.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. I saw a lot of those videos.
Did you see the CNN?
They taste like shrimp.
My straw is giving out.
Oh
dude,
my God. You want to replace
Greg's wife? You are a beautiful lady, and I love you very much.
Look what she got. Yeah, but look what she got.
All right, dude. So I only have 10 more minutes. I have to meet.
Yeah, we got to cut you guys.
I have to meet.
All right,
my woman for a date. So
we've got to go through John.
Okay, we can go through John.
I am friends with John on Facebook.
I'm sorry.
I stand outside the political system, and I know it's shocking for people to hear where I stand and why I am where I'm at. But okay, I've had a few questions thrown at me that I'm going to ask, posed to you. Why do you think he keeps getting released when obviously he's been a party to actions that should have some accountants? Now, I have my beliefs. I don't trust the FBI, and I don't trust the FBI for what they did to the Democrats, not the Democrats, to the liberals and the black community in the 60s. as a student of history. Honestly, if we took an IQ test on this table, I'd be the lowest. But I like to read.
Depending on which section you're talking
I don't
about.
give a shit.
Everybody's really talented in certain sections.
I'll bet I could out mechanic a few people.
There you go. So you're a genius in
I could
mechanics.
probably outshoot everyone here. But those are my levels of attainment. I can shoot and I'm a dog shit mechanic still.
So you can fix your vehicle for evac and you know how to shoot. That's gonna be very valuable. Those people that can do mathematics not gonna be important.
I'm a fat guy that can't run though.
All right, but you got that car that you can fix to get your ass out of there. So,
when the zombies come, I'm coming to his house. I've seen what he's got.
I'm going to Manti. I don't know about you. I'm going to Manti. Yeah, when everything goes down, I'm going to Manti.
But I studied COINTELPRO and what they did and what they have going on, and then also again in the 80s.
You're talking about John,
yes.
Okay.
And in the 80s, there was a lot of infraction from the other side and a lot of buildup from the other side. The Twin Towers bombing of 91 and all that. I don't trust alphabet organizations, but what is going on with John? He keeps getting released, but he keeps radicalizing more. And it seemed like when he came on our show, I know you watched it. You were there the whole time. He was
very vocally.
He was very, yeah, you were. And I had to avoid reading some of the shit you said. I had to edit it. But he was very, very understanding. I have principles that I live by. And he was like, oh, yeah, we should never do that. We should, we shouldn't block roads and commit violence and break into businesses. But as of late, he's gone radical.
He has gone radical, but then he'll get on a show with like people like, I don't know, like Tucker Carlson. I don't know if you saw that. I'm pretty sure he retracted that from his page, but he'll get on shows with Tucker Carlson and he'll turn into a very valiant libertarian. And then he'll get on shows with like Black Lives Matter, like he was over the summer, and he'll be advocating for the death of the Nazis, aka Republicans. So I actually have a huge background into like why John is doing what he's doing and like why and how he gets let out of the situations he's in. Well, not every situation. The $90K was confiscated from him. The $90,000. $90,000
not
in total.
140.
So he sold to different. So that was what was confiscated. And we're not sure about the rest of what he had, but that was the stuff that they needed to confiscate.
Well, what we have publicly, it was like 140K.
Yeah.
And
so like in total, but
I'm sure he spent a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would. He's not working right now.
Dude,
this man has not worked.
Had they gave me 2 months, the cocaine and blow alone would have ate up all of it.
Stop. So no, John, that was confiscated and everything, and then he's still being watched. He knows he's being watched. He's very paranoid about it. It's very weird watching my brother now, and my parents are very, very protective over him. Like he's like, I don't know, like 27. I don't even know how old he is now, but he's like 20. Actually, he's turning 28. Happy birthday, John. But he a
love letter to John.
Yeah. He goes back and forth, and it's really funny. Like he goes from like, I'm a libertarian, I'm a journalist. Like I say that my brother has 24 occupations. I'm not gonna go through them all, but I'm gonna go through the big ones. He's an activist / journalist / historian / podcaster / human rights specialist / political advocate. Like he has so many different titles, it's hard to keep up, and he wears so many different hats. And one of the big things about John is that right now you really can't understand what he's saying.
He's drifting off.
Yeah, and then with things that people call him out of, he says, like for instance, when he went to the Capitol or to DC on the 56th anniversary of Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech, right? He went to the Capitol, and on the same place Martin Luther King advocated for the freedom of America. He went up there and he advocated for the violent removal of Donald J. Trump from office, saying, quote, "We're going to pull him out of office. We're going to get that shit out of office. We're going to burn this shit down," end quote. So like he goes up there, and then I approached him at a rally that he did. He did like an armed protest where he and a bunch of other like soy drinking white kids with AR-15s with their fingers in the wells. Actually, one of those people were tackled because his gun was loaded and he was flagging everybody, and it was insane. I'm not going to say his name, but he went up there and he said the same. He was talking about the same thing, and we approached him. We were like, "So why did you say you're going to pull Trump out of office?" And he's like, "I was being hypothetical." I was using analogies, and I'm like, John, do you even know what those words mean?
Right.
And he's just like, they're analogies, James. Leave it alone. I'm like, we have a video that has 62 million views at that point. Now it has like over 1 billion. 62 million views of you saying this stuff. And then you're gonna come back and act like you're a peaceful person. Like, he just goes back and forth. And people like my parents and people that advocate for him, which are insane. Not my parents are insane, but the other people, they believe in what he says. So he gets, to answer your question, he gets out of prison. The reason why he got out of prison the last time when he came back from January 6th, when we have 450 Americans sitting in prison, one of them who's a 72-year-old white woman. She's that little woman with the flag, that everybody makes fun of.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's just standing there and she's like, I love America. She's sitting in prison right now. Okay. And John isn't. He's the only one of the only people that were let out of prison. It's because Utah, he was able to make it back to Utah, coincidentally. Utah has a bail reform on the books. They deemed that he wasn't violent, that he wasn't advocating for violence, and he would basically be safe in community. He has some of the best lawyers advocating for him, and he was let out of prison.
There is a scary thought about how they're holding those January 6th people. A lot of stuff has come out. They've solitary confinement. They've broken a lot of what we deem as proper functions of how you deal with a prisoner, and that is concerning, regardless of what you think the crime is.
And they're sitting in federal prison, so
but they're being punished right now. But we've always had political prisoners. I think we've just finally taken it to the extent. I mean, people, honestly, my opinion, people taken for drug crimes are political prisoners. I think the war on drugs is lost. It's done. The nation lost. It's time to legalize it all. That I'm just going to outright say it.
So
you would take a lot of power away from the cartels if you did that.
I know I would. You know what?
They
Just
wouldn't
by
like that very much. A lot of
legalizing
politicians would end up suicide.
You want to hear a fact? Just by
Yeah.
legalizing marijuana, you know what the cartels did?
What do they do?
They had to branch out. You know what they're selling now? They're dealing
What are they doing?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl?
avocados.
Oh my gosh!
Shit you not. Avocados made up for the ganja. The ganja loss. They lost 50% of their income just by not all the states, just by those, 36% of the states legalizing.
Oh wow!
Took 50% of their income.
Are these like special avocados?
No, they're just
No,
avocados.
regular
That's
avocados.
crazy.
Look it up.
Yeah,
Wow.
the liberals are probably buying them. They're on those keto diets.
Dude, I'm buying that shit. I love avocados, man.
Oh, you're a liberal.
Right.
Just
Dude,
kidding.
hey,
You're the good liberal. You're the good liberal.
I'm more liberal than any Democrat you'll meet. And
Really?
I'm more conservative than any Republican you'll meet.
That's insane.
That's where the anarchy meets, because I see where the holes are.
That is anarchy.
So
I
It
don't.
hurts my brain.
I don't buy into any of the smut that comes down. I didn't vote for Trump.
Mhm.
I didn't vote for him twice.
you didn't vote for anybody.
I didn't vote for. I haven't voted. The last time I voted, I was a PFC in the U.S. Army in Cuba.
Yeah.
I was at Gitmo, and I voted for Clinton. The last time I voted, that was it.
You voted for Clinton?
For Clinton,
I'm sorry.
dude, he was getting some cigar action, man.
Right.
Dude, I was a 19-year-old freaking private.
So
Oh, okay.
so on these people being held for attacking the Capitol, what do you think should happen then? Should they be let go?
Okay, so first, and I really just want to do this, and to people you're watching, define attacking the Capitol. What is the definition? What is the definition of an insurrection? What is the definition of an insurrection?
Trying to overthrow?
No. What is the actual definition of an insurrection?
Okay, tell me what the
Being let in by police officers and taking.
Well, they-
selfies.
That's the theoretical. That's like the
What happened?
comedic one.
And they
But
weren't
what's-
armed. And
what is the actual definition of insurrection? I have had so many liberals tell me this, and Republicans tell me this. I want you to explain what the actual definition of an
They were
insurrection
trying
is.
to overthrow
No.
a policy
No.
that was going on. Then what is it? Tell me
So,
what it is.
so an
What-
insurrection, what an insurrection is, and I'm going to explain it in two ways. An insurrection, it happened in Egypt. Everybody knows what happened in Egypt, right? An insurrection is when they go in with knives, guns, in masses, and they actually kill people in power. They overthrow the power.
you mean it's
the
not
people
when
in
they
power.
pull their pants down and sit on Pelosi's
Yeah.
chair?
It's not
Kinda
when
do
they
a little.
Oh, wait.
yeah,
little
that's
grub
not
in.
that's not an insurrection. This isn't an insurrection. If the Patriots honestly wanted to, there was no checkpoints in DC that were monitoring cars from coming in and out to make sure they didn't have guns.
Hitting people with flags, hitting police officer flags.
Okay, so most
Right.
of the claims of the Patriots hitting, like for instance, the cop that was beaten to death by a fire extinguisher, he was not beaten to death by a fire extinguisher. That never happened. It was proved to never happen. We can look at the videos right now, and I can bring in archival footage
So
from the
all
investigative
all
team.
that thing with the breaking the windows and fighting the cops and hitting the cops and the 500 people arrested.
I cannot wait until the investigative team comes out with.
So wait, you do agree that
statements.
you do agree that there should be a committee then, huh? That should
There already is a
investigate.
committee. I'm on the committee.
I'm talking about from the Congress, the House of Representatives committee.
So there's already a investigation.
and what committee are you on? That
There's already an investigation into what happened on January
you're on
6th.
the FBI committee.
Rudy Giuliani just lost his license because of that investigative committee. Because they got 90,000 C's from my brother John. They've got 326 sworn statements. Listen, sworn statements from people who signed sworn statements after the bank statements were released that they were paid to be at the Capitol. Those people with the stockades.
I
Go
have a
ahead.
video of it. I have
Go
a
ahead.
video.
Are you have all the video of it, or we're gonna just
Here we
see a
go.
select
Here we
video?
go. I got a video of it for you.
Of the police officer?
Oh, dang, it's been stripped off YouTube.
No, I mean, come on.
No,
Anybody-
I was messing around. It's a video of those guys attacking.
Okay.
that-
All right.
Attacking that old lady with two
So
by
an
fours.
insurrection. So it's gone from armed insurrection to a conflict of the Capitol and the media. The CNN is no longer calling it insurrection because they were absolutely
Here's the-
dismantled by Tulsi.
Let me-
Absolutely dismantled.
Let me
So
take a
That
second.
is not true.
Let me-
That-
yes, they don't
hold
call it an
on.
insurrection anymore. They call it a
Hold on.
conflict.
Let me take a second.
Go ahead.
Greg, they are being held with the only charges being trespass.
that is not right.
No, it is. They're being held with
Well,
trespassing.
I got the article over there. I can go.
no,
grab.
they're being held with trespassing. I have 3 friends.
100 of them are being held for assaulting a federal police officer.
Okay.
No, they're not.
So
Were
okay,
they- were
okay,
they-
No,
hold
they're
on.
not.
Hold on,
You're
hold on.
wrong. You're
They're
wrong.
not being. They're
They
not.
are
There's
being
not
held.
100 people.
That is why they're still in
There
jail.
weren't
Hold on a
100
second,
police
James.
officers. There weren't 100 police officers at the
Hold
at the
on a
Capitol.
A couple.
Hold on a
A
second.
couple of them got beat
There
up
was
3
a
or 4
total of
times.
35 Capitol Police at the
Hold
Capitol.
on a second, James.
35.
100 of them are being charged
You know,
with
this
assault.
is this
Hold
is,
on, no,
No, no,
Greg.
no. I-
hypocritical. This is
No, 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 no.
hypocritical.
I can actually
You wanna-
I can
you
actually
wanna
go into
talk-
this.
Hold
you
on,
wanna
let me
talk
ask-
about Minnesota being destroyed, but our capital,
Minneapolis, Kenosha, New York City, Salt Lake
2,000
City,
people,
most
2,000
of
people
California,
arrested,
Portland.
2,000 people arrested during those, 90% released.
Without charges or fines.
99% of that
Without
was not
charges or
violent
fines.
crimes. The freaking
Non-violent
Capitol was
crimes?
attacked.
Let me ask you a question.
More black people were killed during the Black Lives Matter conflict than were killed by cops in 2020, 2019, and
Cops should be
2018.
held to a
Okay,
higher standard than a
2020,
mob.
more
Cops should
people,
be
more
held to a
black
higher
people were
standard.
killed during the Black Lives Matter conflict than 3 years of
Was
police
George Floyd's murder justified then in your eyes?
of police.
Was it
Are
justified?
you asking him? Are you really going to ask?
No, I mean, if we're
That's
gonna
a dog shit question.
What is it? Is it justified?
Did you want to go over the autopsy
Is
of
it
George
a
Floyd?
dog shit question?
Because
for
I'll go over the
2
autopsy of
No,
George
hold
Floyd
on.
right now with you.
Hold on. 2.4 billion in damage.
2 over the cities, okay. And
That-
maybe,
it
maybe
was-
He's generalizing.
and
He's
then-
generalizing.
and then
anarchy
you're
right now.
finally,
And then you're trying to put him on the
finally-
point like that. That's not.
No, I
we're
got
gonna
this.
be a
I got
little
this.
more
I can
honest.
hold my own.
I can take it from all sides, but
I can hold my own.
Finally, police reform is happening, and it's
No,
only
I
happening
love it.
because.
What's
of
your definition of police reform?
that. First of all?
What police reform is
everybody's
happening right
treated
now?
right.
What police reform is happening now?
Cameras. Isn't it?
That's already been instituted.
Not everybody has it. Now everybody will have it.
Okay.
Okay, you can no longer hide behind the blue line.
There,
I mean, now
every
now
cop in America has a body cam. Keep going.
Now, if you witness as a police officer, you witness your buddy doing it, you could be held responsible for it.
That was already happening.
That never happened though.
No, that was already happening. It's state by state. The
Then-
states are deciding their regulations with their departments. The sheriff is coming down the
you
departments.
believe it
It's
should
not
be
a federal.
federalized.
No, it shouldn't be federalized.
It shouldn't be federalized.
It shouldn't be federalized. No.
Why not?
That's
Because
the
they-
version of the Gestapo. That's what Hitler
because
did.
they
He
ruin
federalized
everything.
police.
Gosh.
Jesus.
No, that's solid history.
No.
Hitler,
No,
Hitler got
You know
Hitler
what?
got rid of local
That's solid
PD.
history. Is the same words he uses with me. That's
No.
solid history. Like I'm supposed to believe it. That's no. There's no question. That's it. I'm talking. It's right.
No. That's facts. That's history.
I'm not going to listen to your point of view because I'm right. That's
No.
solid history.
No, it is solid history.
It is
Hitler
not solid history.
Hitler got rid of local police departments and replaced them with
So you're saying
with
that
federalized police, that were
Blacks-
later known as the Gestapo.
3 years ago, blacks were stopped. I mean, Believe it or not.
What has gotten better for the black community since Joe Biden got in office? Name one thing.
What has gotten better?
What
in
has
6
gotten
months?
what has gotten better?
Hope. How about hope?
Okay, so
Gas prices, lumber prices.
Oh, the economy is booming. Jobs are booming.
booming.
okay.
I know.
They're
Eventually,
exploding.
When it takes
everything's
me-
coming down. Because that's
when
the
it
look
takes
we
me
gotta take.
so back 4 years ago, 6 years ago, before Trump's administration, all right, if I wanted to build a deck in my backyard, it would probably take me like 10 grand. Okay,
Because
right
you're
now,
black?
no, not because I'm black.
What
because
got to do
because-
with Joe Biden black?
because lumber, like two
Okay.
2x4 did not cost $30.
Oh, I agree. Lumber's up. Okay.
Okay, lumber's up, and why is lumber up?
Because we locked down.
That's not because we locked down. Why is lumber up?
I don't know. Tell me.
Because
When you asked me a
Biden
question I'm supposed to answer, is that supposed to be
is-
intelligent? or
Biden
what? I mean,
Biden is elevating the EPA, putting restrictions on lumber companies, which is why lumber is going up. Okay, we are literally going towards an economic collapse right now. And what happens during economic collapses throughout history? Whenever an economy collapses throughout history, somebody great rises and saves the country. Okay, it happened in Germany, it happened in Russia, it happened in Ukraine, it happens everywhere.
So who's rising here?
Right? Who's rising here?
Yeah.
There is a third party within this a fourth party within this country that nobody talks about, and it's the anti-American Socialist Party. So, okay, so like our economy is not booming right now. Nothing good. Hope for the black community. Okay, I would rather have like the assurance of having a job and a way of life under Trump, even under Obama. They were doing better under Obama than they are under Joe Biden right now.
850,000 jobs last month. That's not good.
That are open, not filled.
Right, that were created.
Okay, no. We have 96 million jobs that are not filled because nobody's working because Biden is incentivizing unemployment.
That's not true.
Yes, there is. They're making more off of unemployment right now than they will if they go in and work. Okay, businesses are
pay
literally
more,
no
if businesses
child
pay
labor.
more, that would bring
State
more up.
child labor laws are literally being rewritten so 14-year-olds can go in and work
Well-
longer than 20 hours a week. Okay, so like yeah, it is happening. Most fast food places are being staffed by 14 through 16-year-old kids,
which they're supposed to be.
okay, but
I mean,
who was working there before?
It's kind of sad when a
Who was-
40-year-old is working serving a hamburger.
But those same people, the
It's a
40-year-old
decent
liberals, were
job.
picketing outside
liberals,
of they were picketing outside of McDonald's.
I
asking
was
for
not
15
picketing. I'm a liberal.
Were you working at McDonald's?
No.
Okay, so you weren't working at McDonald's. So these same 40-year-olds were outside of McDonald's.
So are you
picketing
saying
for
everybody
$15
working
an hour.
at McDonald's is a liberal?
But the people that are picketing out, asking for $15 an hour minimum wage for flipping a burger patty.
Okay, so
when our men and women are dying over in Iraq, all right, making less than what they make at McDonald's. That's a problem. So like now that McDonald's is offering $15 an hour, and guess what? Nobody's coming back to work. Walmart right now in Sandy, they're offering $20 an hour for a night shift, and nobody is coming to
That's
work.
capitalism, isn't it?
Nobody is coming to work because they're being incentivized to stay home because unemployment is literally right now in America $800 a week. Okay, they're making more sitting at home playing video games, streaming, than they are going to work and having a job. And for me, if I wasn't somebody with passion, with motivation, if Chele wasn't somebody with passion and motivation, we'd be doing the same thing. So it's very easy for somebody that is struggling, that needs to pay rent, needs to put food on their kid's table, to sit at home and click the $800 check,
So
and
how
going
long
out
does
and
that last?
working and
How
not
long-
having a
if
job.
that's happening, how long is that $800 going to last? It's supposed to end when?
There's no president date. There's no expiration for that yet.
There's a
What's the date?
There was people.
What's the date?
I think I want to say 1st of September is when the federal incentive stops, but there is
The 1st of September is not when that stops. The 1st of September is when people have to stop wearing face diapers on their face in government buildings.
No, well,
the 13th of September is when they don't have to wear face
so you're
diapers
saying
on their
the
face when they go
federal
on airlines.
the federal incentive for unemployment is going on forever?
Right now, there's no stop to it. They're not putting a
No,
stop. They're
you're
putting out
wrong.
a forced stimulus.
That's what a lot of the
They're putting out a forced stimulus. They don't want people to work.
They don't think long term. They think right now. So that
That
$800
forced
a
stimulus is
week.
not going to go. So
That $800
That's
a
what they
week.
said about the first, second, and third.
well, and it saved the company. You got to agree, the first and second saved us. It saved people's homes. It saved people's lives. We were attacked by a virus. You might not believe it, because I know.
I actually
know
hear that we were attacked by a virus. I believe it was
Planned.
biological warfare. I don't believe it was a
Okay,
natural virus.
but-
I believe it was an attack by
but
China because
were
Trump
we-
was
were we
kicking their
attacked?
asses economically. Okay.
Wow.
Trump
No,
Trump had China in his hand.
Had it in his hands.
And then the result was a
And-
virus
and
that
Putin-
locked down our
and
country.
Trump was in Putin's hands.
Trump was not in Putin's hands.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Biden would rather help fund a oil line out in Russia than he would fund an oil line here in America, which hiked gas prices under Trump. I'm not saying like praise Trump. Under his administration, okay? Under his administration, we were self-dependent with our oil and gas. We were not.
We were totally self-dependent.
We were totally self-dependent off oil. He made us a self-dependent country.
We didn't get anything out of OPEC or anything like that. We were totally
Self-dependent. He started He encouraged fracking and offshore drilling. We were extracting more oil from our soil than ever in American history under Trump. And then Biden came in, he incentivized the EPA, and now that's no longer happening anymore. We're importing, and the other thing that's happening, we're importing oil, and the other thing that's happening is that men and women from our armed services are now going back over to the Middle East to guard these oil fields because we're importing again.
Didn't Biden just bring them home from Afghanistan?
Which time did he bring back from Afghanistan?
Today was when they closed the big base. I mean, they're totally closing it.
Okay, so Joe Biden said that he brought 2,000 people back, right?
Hold on.
They're closing it.
Didn't Trump have scheduled to leave Afghanistan on May 1st? May 1st was scheduled to have every U.S. soldier out of Afghanistan. Last May 1st. And that was delayed by Biden. He moved it to September. I don't know. That was when Trump had it scheduled to leave Afghanistan. That's just, Trump had scheduled to leave Afghanistan. I think it was May 1st.
So going way back to, I have to leave pretty soon, but to answer the question about the insurrection.
You're gonna be so late.
Yeah, it's okay.
You're so not getting action tonight.
No, it's okay. So
Lady Day to James, remember, no. No, you can say no, and he has to listen.
So,
gentlemen.
So what happened at the insurrection? First of all, an insurrection is an armed takeover of government. There was nobody.
Which they were trying to do.
Name one person there that was armed with a gun.
No. Okay, here we go.
What politician was killed?
If they would have caught Pence, do you
Assaulted.
think they would have killed him?
What politician was killed?
No.
Answer that question. Was there a politician killed on that day?
Attorney James.
Attorney.
Take the fifth.
No.
You can't just tell me
Was
yes
there
or
a
no.
politician killed on that day?
No.
So it was not an insurrection.
So someone has to be killed?
An insurrection is an armed takeover. An insurrection is an armed takeover of government.
Where does it say someone has to be killed? Or is that your
Literally,
interpretation?
they go in and they kill everybody in power.
Said armed.
And
now this is your interpretation. You
okay, how about assaulted?
Okay,
was there a politician assaulted?
Was a politician assaulted?
Federal police officers were assaulted.
By who?
By patriots, I guess, with flags and masks.
So
and everything.
Are we talking about the Patriots that were there 40 minutes before Trump started speaking, before the rest of the actual Patriots went over? Or are we talking about after Trump actually finished speaking and the Patriots went over to the Capitol? John and anyone? Patriots dressed in Trump gear were over at the Capitol 40 minutes before Trump even finished his speech.
This is why your organization, there's no credit because you're not using common sense.
This has nothing to do with Blexit. This has to do with common sense and being able
and looking at the video and being able. Come on, let's put up a CNN video.
Okay.
Let's watch it.
Did he just source CNN in this room? Okay.
But I believe CNN, they reported a building fell in Florida. Is that fake news? Is that true?
Didn't CNN report that Cuomo had COVID?
But he never had COVID.
Everybody makes mistakes. This is what kills me. And we're going to point out one time. Oh, that's wrong. You're a multi-billion-dollar, and we know you're going to try to overthrow the government with your opinion.
Everybody makes mistakes. You just said that.
Right, and they admit it when they do, don't they?
Okay, so we're going to equate.
Okay, no, so the video is all lies. Let's go YouTube. Let's watch.
How many police officers were killed during the Black Lives Matter conflict over the summer? Do you know how many?
I don't.
22 police officers, and that's active. That's active. No, that's active duty. That's active duty. Black Lives Matter literally blocked hospital entrances from EMTs going in and bringing officers down. And an officer died.
I think that was when the Boogaloo Boys.
Can we look that up? I don't believe that.
Okay, look up Black Lives Matter blocks hospital.
Oh, blocks? No, I want to look at 22 police officers dead.
Go ahead, look that up. Look at that statistic. It may be a little bit more.
Okay, so
yeah, you might be wrong.
So. It might be more.
So tell me about these patriots that are sitting in prison that attacked our Capitol.
They walked in the front door of a door that was open for them by the Capitol Police.
And the people that climbed the walls, was that a rock climbing event, or was
there was no walls erected around the Capitol that they had to climb to get over it. There were
And the
72
windows broken.
There were 72-year-old women that walked into
and the windows
that
broken.
Capitol.
And what about our idol, the guy with the fox on him or the wolf? And
That guy wasn't even conservative. He was a paid actor, and he
Yeah,
came out and he said it, and he disappeared from the media.
it's funny that all these. Well, now I know your stance on Proud Boys. All these Proud Boys guys going against Trump, saying, "God, he's left us out here."
I don't agree with Proud Boys.
I
don't support Proud Boys.
I don't blame
They
you.
assaulted me on
I
December
agree.
12th, and their leader Enrique is now selling anti-BLM.
I read that. Is that
BLM
true?
stuff.
See, I read
It's
that.
absolutely true. I never agree with the Proud Boys.
See, I told you.
I believe that a lot of the Proud Boys were strong Americans and they loved America, but I don't believe they were in the right.
I don't know.
At least 25 Americans were killed.
12 police officers have been shot during the
Okay.
George Floyd.
12. Okay, so I mean that the 22.
There's 22. 22 are dead,
There's 25 people were
active
killed.
and off
Okay.
duty. David
So-
Dorn.
so-
you know David Dorn?
Is the
Okay.
riot in Minneapolis the same as the riot at the Capitol?
No, there was no riot at the Capitol.
James, I believed you. I believed a lot what you said.
No,
Up to now,
there was no
total
riot.
credibility.
So
Credibility.
So the thing that happened, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the Capitol, and that's going to be coming out
That's why-
during my brother's trial.
So what happens with these 500 people? The government,
450.
us liberals are so powerful. We can make this stuff up, and we could sit them in jail, and they
Okay.
can sit there.
So
And your side will just let them sit there.
you quoted videos, right?
I
videos
quoted,
of Capitol.
I quoted CNN.
Okay, so you quoted videos of Capitol.
I even
So
saw
Shell and
video
I-
on Fox.
Shell and I have seen videos with the Capitol Police literally opening up the Capitol doors
Right.
and waving the people in.
And-
They've also seen Capitol Police removing the barriers and letting the people in. There was 35 Capitol policemen at that Capitol. Let me finish. There's 35 Capitol Police at the Capitol. Trump and several other Democrat and Republican senators called for the reinforcement of the Capitol. They called for the National Guard. They called for Metropolitan Police to be put there. Every single action was denied by who? Nancy Pelosi. That's not a conspiracy theory.
Wasn't what did,
come
he
on.
did
No,
ask
that is a lie.
It is. It's not a lie. Look it up.
That
on
is
the
a
5th.
lie.
On the 5th, Trump asked for
called for
reinforcements.
reinforcements at
Of the
what, about
Capitol.
3 hours.
No.
4
It
hours
was
after
it was
the
3 days
resurrection.
before.
Oh no.
It was 3 days before. There was chatter on both the
McCarthy wasn't calling them up saying, "Hey, get the National Guard in here. We're being attacked."
I kind of like McCarthy when you look at it in retrospect.
He wasn't. He wasn't talking. I mean,
they asked for more security
They asked
3
for the
days
National
3
Guard.
days before January 6th. They asked for the National Guard. They asked for Metropolitan Police,
during
and all requests were denied.
during the so-called visit when they're climbing walls, breaking windows, and all that, McCarthy didn't call Trump and ask for National Guard to be put in there quickly, that they were being attacked.
McCarthy?
The leader, who's the House leader?
Okay, so answer me this question.
Fucking McCarthy.
How did
you're
the
going
media-
back to the 60s?
So how
Who is it? Who's the House leader?
You're McCullough.
No,
who's-
it's not McCarthy. Okay, no,
whoever it is,
if
but
you're gonna knock me, then you better come up with the gosh
well,
damn
you
right
said
now.
McCarthy. McCarthy's an actual
It-
person.
It's look up the House leader. Okay, so we were 22 police officers were not killed during the riots. 20. I mean,
active and on duty.
now there was a lot of police officers that losing their pension now because they attacked the Capitol. A lot of military vets.
Which police officer is losing their
There was,
pension?
the guy in New York who
And how is-
the one that had pushed down a fellow police officer took his shield.
So the people that were breaking the windows were actually with my brother John. And if they're with my brother John and they're surrounding my brother John, that means that they're not patriots. The people that went and defecated on the desk of Nancy Pelosi, which I think is hilarious.
Heroes.
Those people are heroes. Those people are amazing. I don't see that as a violent offense. I don't see that as equivalent.
Oh, wait.
I don't see that as
wait.
equivalent to Black Lives Matter. To Black Lives Matter
Hold on.
shooting George Floyd in the face, not George Floyd, David Dorn in the face for protecting his friend's businesses. So this was a black former
I
police
know who
officer.
David Dorn is.
He was shot in the face by Black Lives Matter in the name of a drug addict that died in the streets.
Hold on. I
Okay,
want to go back
So, like-
to
Wait,
Nancy
drug
Pelosi's desk.
he was a drug addict.
Well,
he was a horrible person.
Was it justified though?
He was a horrible
Was
human
he
being.
an American
who
with
died.
rights? Was he an American with rights?
He was American.
And
He was
he-
a horrible American.
And he
with
should have
rights.
gone. And he should have gone through the justice system, right? That police
Again.
officer should not be an
Hold on.
executioner.
On Pelosi's
He would have.
desk.
He would have OD'd of fentanyl. The amount of
James,
fentanyl.
James,
The amount of. He kneeled on his shoulder. First of all.
Oh, come on, no.
Yeah.
no,
He
no
did not
wonder.
die of
No,
asphyxiation.
no wonder you didn't see the people
He didn't die of
going through the
asphyxiation.
Capitol. You didn't even see them kneeling.
He didn't
You
die
see
from
what you wanna
asphyxiation.
see.
So this is
I mean,
so
you
just
guys are
keep
talking
This
about-
is amazing.
You guys are talking.
I'm
about-
gonna clip this so
He
hard.
was. He was
Okay,
he was
flip it.
talking.
Hey,
Hold on. He was talking about Chauvin kneeling on him, and you mentioned something else. But
Okay.
I want to ask about Pelosi's desk.
Okay, let's ask about
and the
Pelosi's desk.
defecation.
I have
Was
so
it-
many amazing pictures of Pelosi's desk. during the
Was
day.
it a longer, or did the guy have the?
It was several.
Have the
People
in-
say
hold
one.
on, hold
It
on.
was several. People
on,
using
hold
that
on.
as a urinal,
Hold on.
like a porta potty.
The intestinal fortitude.
Oh
This
my
would be magic
gosh.
to give us the old ice cream cone topper. That's what I want to see.
No,
I
it
want to
wasn't
see.
that.
I
It
have
wasn't pretty at all.
through my life, my 45 years of life, I have tried many a times to make the perfect ice cream cone topper, and have yet to succeed. And I wonder if someone on Pelosi's desk achieved such heights of artistic manliness.
I guess
As we're going on 1800 here, how about we
Yeah.
wrap this up?
We got to
Yeah.
close this
Let's do
down.
it again.
All right, there's a lot, and there's a lot of controversy, and towards the end there, it got fun and spicy, which I like, and I hope you guys like as well. Honestly, both sides bring good points. The Democrats, they like crazy sex stuff, and the Republicans are good on everything else. No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, this was a good chat. I want to close this out by saying, regardless, I don't care politics or if you think whatever happened whenever, I want to see an empowerment of people. And there are people in urban areas who are not empowered. And I don't care the level of their blackness or Hispanicness or anything else. I want to see them empowered. I want to see them given the tools, and the intellect is the most important part, the
Right.
drive to survive. And I believe that is waiting there. If we free that, what kind of explosion of economic ability or invention will we see come out of there? That stuff is being subdued right now because there are certain people who think that you have to come to the government every time you want to
Right.
do something. And we've got to break them out of that so that they break out. I want to see what comes up new.
It's going to be great, and it's going to be a lot of free thinkers. And the
Get in on that
government
mic.
fears
You got a good message.
get on it. Yeah.
I was just saying that it's going to be great, and that we're going to be creating a lot of free thinkers, and the government fears that. You know, they want people to heavily rely on them. They don't want them to think for themselves. They want them to consistently, you know, go to the government for everything and don't think for yourselves. And you're a victim. Let us take care of you. And our whole goal and mission is to bring change to that and just let these people know that there's other alternatives out there.
Yeah.
Than what you're being fed.
Regardless of party, the government is the bad guy. Always has been. And I know no one believes me, but look at the 91 Trade Center bombing. Look at how that played out. Look at Waco. Look at Ruby Ridge. Ruby Ridge was done by a Republican. Look at that. The government is the bad guy, and free people are the good guys. And I want to see you guys lead
so.
those communities, and I want to see you guys break in there and you lead the communities here or worldwide or wherever. And then I want to see you guys train other people. I want to see you guys make real leaders, not grifters.
Absolutely. And people need to know, like, just because, you know, you're a Republican or Democrat doesn't mean that you have to agree with every single thing that these parties believe in. You know, like I said, I didn't vote for Trump his first term because I didn't believe in a lot of the things that he was saying. I didn't feel like he was running for people like me. And so I was just like, you know, I have Republican views and conservative views, but I don't necessarily agree with this. So I'm going to go ahead and sit this one out. And then his second term, it was just like explode. It was almost night and day. I was just like, wow, like this is incredible. Look at all these great things that this man has done. Like, of course I'm going to vote for him, and I'm going to encourage other people to vote for him.
There
as
seems
well.
to have been a black conservative explosion.
It was,
the nation.
I think,
It's
in a lot
crazy.
of communities, the
Do you know why?
LGBT community, the black community,
because they see
Hispanic
that they've been
community.
handed nothing.
Not that.
Why?
It's very simple. So they let Joe Biden's handlers let him go on to the morning show with Charlamagne the God.
I remember
And
that.
he said they're trying to get him off.
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Joe's getting exhausted. He's getting tired. Get him off. She's like, I gotta go.
How
Tell me
about
I
what
gotta
he's-
go. And then he's like, but I will say that if you're black and
No, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
No, but no. He didn't say that. He said if you are black and you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black. And a bunch of black people woke up, and this is before that, literally like a week later, George Floyd was killed, and they broadcast it on TV, and Democrats are coming up as social justice warriors. But until George Floyd was killed, they had an exodus from like the day after.
Yeah, I'll bet
The
it was
day
good.
after.
Well, how about
like, the walkaway campaign?
how about
was
when he
created.
said? How about when he said, "Poor kids are just as of ability,
smart as
just
white
as,
kids.
just as
As white
talented and
kids.
smart as white kids?
Yeah.
or when he said, we're in trouble. The nation's doomed. The whites are going to become a minority. It's like his mental faculties.
My
are
favorite
slipping.
quote from him was when he was advocating against the integration of communities, like housing communities,
Oh,
and he said that he didn't want his kids living and growing up in a racial jungle.
that was over the busing.
It's
when he
kind
said
of
that.
like when Trump said there's good guys on both sides, right? I mean,
Have
so
you
so
ever-
Sargeville.
Have you ever read that full statement?
Yeah, have you ever read the full
Honestly,
statement?
no. I want you to read that.
We watched.
Wait.
We watched
No, I'm
Biden.
gonna
I
force
listen
you to
to
read this.
5 fucking things Joe
You're
Biden
gonna
said.
look
I
retarded.
say one thing, and now you guys know.
Because it's a
No.
retarded talking
No,
point.
it's not.
If you
know
listen
what?
to the full thing, it is.
That
And
thing in
that's
North
coming from
Carolina,
me.
That thing was
This is great.
in North Carolina was sad. I mean,
Charlottesville?
even in
Yeah,
Charlottesville,
and you know how he started
North
that out
Carolina,
with?
right? Charlottesville's in
You
North
know how
Carolina.
he started out with? By condemning them. And then
Oh,
he
he
said,
did not condemn.
no, he
them.
did.
Oh
And then
my
he says,
gosh,
on the
no.
statue
He did.
argument, on the
No.
statue
Okay.
argument, there are good people on
All right.
both sides
Let's
of the
actually-
statue
Oh,
argument.
no, I just want to know before you guys go, really is if somebody wanted to get more information, because like I said, I tried and it was hard to find,
Mhm.
especially with you in jail. But
Wait, my brother or me? I was never in jail.
Facebook
Facebook jail.
Oh, Facebook jail. Okay, let's clarify that. This is not a dream.
yeah, that's okay, but no, I'm seriously, and maybe if I want to attend a rally just to hear you guys talk, really, and you know, your talking points on betterment, I really do, and police
Yeah.
reform. We might look at a different way of how it should be done, but you know, the empowerment of people, I'm always for. I'd like to know, you know, where I can go, where I can see, and then
So
you guarantee me protection, right?
you can go to any Blexit event and have it protection. It's not a Patriot rally.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
A
Proud
lot of-
Boys ain't going to show up, are they?
No.
Okay,
No.
okay.
So I just would like to clarify a couple things first. The first thing is I'm coming on here as James Sullivan. She's coming in here as Shell Black. We're not coming here as our executive positions.
Okay.
The other thing is that Blexit, we're for the community. We're for America. We're a nonpartisan 501c3 group, and they advocate for not only Black Americans but the betterment of America.
Right.
So if you come to one of our rallies, you'll be safe. You could come to one of our rallies in a Biden shirt, honestly, and we'll hand you a Blexit shirt. We'll be like, you want to put this over there? We'll give you a white one so the Biden can show through.
Okay.
You know, we want to lead the conversation because, and this is something that's kind of indisputable and incontrovertible with Black Lives Matter, is that they came out and they said they were 501c3 and they said they were nonpartisan. And then they didn't allow, there's not a single Republican in their leadership. They call Black Republicans like myself coons and House Negroes. I was called that several times by Lex Scott. Well, Blexit doesn't do that. You can come in and say that you voted for Biden, and we'll be like, okay, this is how we feel that the Black community needs to be better. This is how we feel that the Black American community can become more knowledgeable about their races and about, you know, voting and the process. So we care about that. We don't care. We're not going to go up there and say Trump 2020 or 2024. We do back the blue, but not in the way that everybody else says they back the blue.
Okay.
So we back the blue in the sense that we support our law enforcement. We also identify in law enforcement because there are people that have egotistical personalities. They're in law enforcement that respond to situations in a emotional way. It's very hard for a police department or academy to root that out until it's found. So like we do agree that there are problems within like our police and there's things that need to happen, but we back the blue in the sense that we do community outreach. We'll have the officers, for instance, like if we go to like West Valley, we'll have an event, we'll have the officers come out, and then the kids and the parents will know who their officers are there over their communities. They'll be familiar faces. So instead of looking at them, the kids being like, that's an officer, I'm going to go to the jail for like no reason, they'll be like, oh, there's Officer Swanson. Like, I don't know why I just used a Family Guy reference, but like there's Officer Swanson. And, you know, we want to be able to create more of a connection with the officers in the communities. We also will bring food to the officers. We will go and support them at different events, different fundraiser events. But a lot of it is just community inclusion. We just want the community, not only Black community, but the community to be able to know these officers, to be able to know that there's school choice, that there's an opportunity to rise, and it's not dependent on your skin color.
Okay. I agree. I mean, I'm looking forward to the day. It's not going to be my lifetime, but I'm looking for the day where we just say,
Where
I'm
government's
an
gone.
American. I'm an
We
American.
live in an agora.
I never
peaceful.
thought the LBGD community would have came as far as long when I was growing up, but it has. And I'm hoping, 20 years from now, when I'm dead, my kids.
Did you say LBGD?
It's okay.
I've been
He
drinking-
tried really hard.
I mean, I'm
Did
trying.
he?
but okay, gay community.
He broke it out.
LGBT.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, when I was in high school, that was a no-no, and I never thought I'd see him get married or accepted. And I look at my kids or my grandkids, and they're acceptable. I look at my grandkids playing with, and it's a fact.
You know what made him acceptable?
Racism is not innate.
You know what?
Racism is developed.
You know what made the LGBT community acceptable? The
Trump.
people.
School.
No, it wasn't school. It was the people.
Yeah,
it was
we have gay conservatives now.
because
So-
But what I'm saying back,
because you got
20
to
years
know
ago,
a
you wouldn't see
gay
it.
person,
Yeah.
or just a person. They're gay or not, whatever. I don't care.
I'm just hoping.
But you got to
20
know them,
years,
and they were just people.
we're just
Right.
Americans. I mean, that's it. That's we're a melting pot.
They like to
We are.
drink
We're
Sprite
American.
like me. And-
Okay.
and they like
So-
their bread white like
It
no, I'm
was
just kidding.
it was really great
No, it was
coming on the
great.
show.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Hey.
That's good stuff, you guys. Real quick, just before you go, plug the Blexit, blexit.com.
So
Get on
it's just type in Blexit to Google. It's the
Mhm.
Blexit Foundation page. And the menu drop down, it's like the 3 lines.
Uh-huh.
You'll select choose chapters, and then you'll be able to choose a
Choose
chapter
your state and, what
and
have you.
join.
And
Yeah.
if people want to join up, if people want to actually become a part of the committee, is there that availability?
So
Can
we
they
do
come
have.
in and say,
We are one of the few Blexit chapters. I'm not saying that they have a problem doing it, but we've been able to staff a fully knowledgeable executive team.
Yeah.
So we have very good people. So we are looking for community leaders.
okay, so I'm looking to join the anarchy side.
There's no anarchy side in Blexit. I'm sorry, but no, just for the state, it's just we're looking for community leaders. She will be doing a lot of the membership
Yeah.
outreach. I'll be
I know
uplifting
her.
her
I got
even
her
more.
number.
To do that. So she'll start posting the Blexit links, join a chapter, stuff like that. We're gonna have a lot of amazing video content.
So what you just said was build memes, send them to Shell to get the anarchy side built.
Oh,
Got it.
we're gonna be putting out we have 2 amazing production companies that are gonna be assisting Blexit Utah with putting out content, messaging. So even if you don't come to our event, we're gonna try to get it live streamed. If we do, if it's not a speaking engagement and we're just doing a community outreach, or for instance, this month for July is this summer kickoff. So we're going to be hosting parties barbecues and stuff like that for the community.
Mm.
So we'll be able to stream it. We're going to put out messaging, so everybody's going to know very clearly about what Blexit stands for.
All
So
right.
you're not going to see a Trump. Somebody may bring a Trump flag in the audience, but you're not going to see one up on our stage. You're not going to see a Biden flag. You're going to see the red, white, and blue.
We welcome everyone.
We welcome everyone, every single person.
And the golden yellow.
Yeah, and if we have members that are persecuted against their political, sexual, religious beliefs, that's not tolerated within Blexit. So
Mm.
we're very, very, very inclusive.
I'll just come in there and yell statist.
Oh my gosh.
Statist. Anyways,
Yeah.
No, this was great. Got spicy. That's always fun.
Hey, take a couple.
It was
cake pops for your-
kinda-
for your wife.
It was kind of weird to have the black guy arguing for Trump and the white guy.
It was a cool dynamic.
Dude,
We should host
I
some-
like it.
I would be Shell and I would be. I'm not speaking for Shell, but we'd be really happy to come on for
Dude,
debates.
we need you guys.
Debates are something that need
okay.
to happen. They're not happening.
We need
Right.
conversation.
Here's what I-
Conversation.
agree.
I want you to come on again specifically. We need to break down what's going on with John, especially after that's all done up. I want you to come on again to push it.
Absolutely.
I love the idea. I want you guys to push for leaders. I want you guys
Mhm.
to come on both together, push for leaders, dig into the community, find leaders on the ground, not leaders who are guys who live on the hill. I want you to
Right.
find leaders in the communities, find your pastors, honest pastors, not
Right.
the
Yeah.
pastors
So my
were-
main goal right now, is just outside of Blexit, is to lift up leaders.
good.
For last year, it was literally myself and Burgess Owens were the most well-known Black Republicans in Utah. That's a problem because
That
I
is.
was a newly single dad. You know, like I didn't know what I was doing. Everyone's like James, and like nobody knows any other Black guys except for James and Burgess Owens. I want them to know Shell Black. I want them to know Dr. Gary
Mhm.
Thompson, John Harvey, LaTroy Woods. I want them to know these people. I want these leaders to grow because everybody I just mentioned.
Well, I want to have
hate.
them. I want to have them all on the show.
Yeah, no, we'll bring them all on the show. They're going to go on to
Just one
the
at a
John
time.
Johnston's show with,
Yep.
you're going to be seeing them a lot. In fact, when we do officially launch, you're going to be seeing their faces on billboards, electronic, like the
Good.
digital billboards. So it's going to be pretty big.
Dude,
We're
I
really
would be
excited.
Pissed if anyone put my face that high. I'm an ugly motherfucker. I am
agree.
Dog ugly. Dude, I look like a dog walking backwards. You're gonna put that on the dude. Put my ass on.
Stop. Okay, I gotta go.
Yeah, get out of here. We'll see you guys later.
Follow us on Facebook.
Yeah, jump on Facebook. Jump
Michelle
on there.
Black, John
Yeah.
Sullivan.
There you go.
All right.
Okay.